started it all, and it's going, so there really is no turning back at this point. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Heyo, and welcome to Core. This is Core for January 6th, 2021 to... I almost said the whole... Well, I did. I screwed it up. 2022. This is the first show I've screwed it up on. How does that make you guys feel that I saved it for now? That I effed it up on Core? How's that feel, John?
2021 too.
Yeah,
I'm embarrassed you think so little of us.
Well,
you would be okay with making mistakes on Core, but not on TMS or Retro Show.
I've been working so hard on not screwing the date up, but then I did it here and I didn't mean to. It's 2022. Happy New Year. We're back. Still basking in the glow of all of your comments about our picks for best games of the year last year, which actually had quite the effect on what I played this week. And we'll get to that. But our conversation pushed me down a hallway I wasn't expecting. And we'll get to all that. I'll explain it when we talk about what we played. But it's good to be here. I'm Scott. That's John. That's Bo. We got a show ahead of us. Let's dive right in. Okay, so PlayStation VR 2 got announced.
Sequel
VR
to
2.
virtual reality.
Virtual reality finally gets a sequel, you guys. I don't know if you were expecting that so soon, but the entirety of VR, finally, a part 2 is here.
Part 2, VR wins.
Yeah, in this one, VR wins. Wait. So it kind of won for them last generation because they did quite well with it, turns out. So you guys are no stranger to this, but if you're a console maker, you make your console, you ship it with a controller, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe a pack-in game. It depends on when you're selling that device. Sometimes a launch NES has nothing in there, but later on Mario's in there, that sort of thing. But you're just getting the core machine, a controller, and then the opportunity to add games to your life. Anything else is usually a bad seller, almost by default. So if you're going to add something like, remember Sega's little dance circle thing they made? What was that called? The Sega React? Was that it? Whatever it was. Way back in the day. Genesis era stuff. It was like a thing you corded in to a controller port, and it was like an octagon around you. And supposedly you could like punch and fight and kick and stuff, and it would register.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but that thing was the thing. Sold terribly. Now, if the Genesis had launched with it, you would never be able to say it sold terribly because it would be a one-to-one purchase. It would just be there every time. Not even games are one-to-one. Even your biggest system sellers like, I don't know, Zelda, Ocarina, or no, let's think of a better one than that. What's the one the new one, Breath of the Wild, a newish one. That is as close as you'll get to a one-to-one sell with the Switch, but it's not one-to-one. And there never are. They're never one-to-one. These accessories, light guns, external hard drives, modems, weird little add-ons, depending on when you're talking about the era or whatever.
Sega 32X.
Sega 32X, a great example, unless you were like me and you and we went and bought CDXs because we're crazy. But that was the only exception, and that was a $400 and something exception. It's a bad idea, honestly. But what I'm getting at is these accessories are never one-to-one, and they usually are kind of abysmal in terms of overall sales. On PCs, that's different because PCs are seen as a modular concept and adding something to it all the time. A new mouse, a new keyboard, a new whatever is pretty common. New video card. It's not that crazy of an idea. Just a different world. Well, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but by all accounts, PlayStation VR for the PlayStation 4 was a genuine hit for them. They made a lot of money from it. They sold quite a few of them. Wasn't one-to-one, but it was higher than most of these things get. And therefore, I am not surprised that they are going to have a follow-up in the form of whatever VR2 means. Well, we actually kind of know what it means. We know what the specs are and stuff. I'm not going to get too into the weeds on that because it's kind of just boring tech time stuff. But here's what you're going to get, all right? Visual fidelity, as far as that's concerned, PSVR 2 offers 4K HDR, 110-degree field of view. That's all higher than the original VR helmet. And foveated rendering. Now, I learned what this is. Do you guys want to know what foveated rendering is? Do you want to
Yes,
know?
I thought it was
please.
illegal in most states, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to know what it will actually be.
Yeah. You still can't foveate in Wyoming or they'll arrest you on the spot. So don't foveate in public. No, foveated rendering is this. So it's a smart eye tracking technology that is giving the most render focus and attention and under the hood power to what your eyes are looking at directly. So think of it in real life. I'm walking around and my field of view is what it is. And over here, I can kind of see my hands are wiggling to the sides. If I look at one of my hands, I'm like, oh, there it is. And I can see it in full high definition hand movement. Same with this hand. But when I'm looking straight ahead at my screen, my focus is there and what's kind of within that main focus range. And I know my hands are moving and they're just outside of here, but they don't need to have the same attention in terms of fidelity, frame rate, pixel density, all that kind of stuff as what I'm seeing directly in front of me. And it's a smart enough system to know to render what's in your field of view focus and not periphery stuff. It's not that it won't be there, it just won't have the attention that
It's
you would
the
have.
same technology, or at least similar principle to like how they film The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Like it will only render what the camera's looking at in high detail, and anything outside of the camera is fuzzy and less rendered.
Right. In a meat space example, it always reminds me of when I watch some backstage or behind the scenes footage of early Walking Dead episodes. And I didn't know this at the time, so it was just really cool to see. But there'd be one of those shots where a whole road, like a wide road out in the country somewhere, is just packed with 1,000 zombies. They're all coming to get Rick and his pals, that's the whole deal. And someone yelling, Carl, and it's all scary and everything. But when the camera's cut, you start to see this. In the front of the group, about 10 people back worth of space, and then divide, times that by 10, so you got maybe, 30 people there. They all have really intricate, carefully made makeup on. Makes them look like zombies. This guy's jaw's hanging off, that lady's eye's missing, this guy's half his head is missing, whatever, and it's all very detailed. But then the 30 people behind them are like 2 or 3 steps behind that in terms of detail. And then behind them, more so. And then by the time you get to the back, it's literally just people with a couple of grease pencil marks on their face to kind of emulate maybe a drawn out, jawline or something, because you don't need it in the focus. So I've probably over explained this, but that's what foveated rendering is. And it's very cool, actually. It's a neat thing, and this sort of use case is really beneficial because you're trying to maximize what you're looking at all the time in VR and maximize that frame rate and all that sort of stuff, and this will help you do that. Each eye gets a resolution of 2000 by 2040, so it's per eye. It's pretty good.
Screw the screen door. I hate the screen door.
Yeah, no more screen door, baby. Smooth frame rates of 90/120 hertz. The thing I heard the night they announced this at CES was 120 was what they were aiming for with everything. So I don't know if the 90/ just gives them a little wiggle room or whatever, but 90 is considered kind of your baseline or as low as you'd want to go. 120 hertz would be preferable. Headset-based controller tracking, so inside-out tracking like the Quest does. That's really important. No weird camera to have to face at or have your room be exactly the way it needs to be. It'll be inside-out tracking, so that's very cool. There's a bunch of other stuff, some sensor stuff. The headset itself will actually vibrate and do haptic feedback and do it in like zones and stuff. So,
oh no,
if somebody hits you in the head with a bullet, like let's say Brian or Bo, you're playing, I don't know, Call of Duty VR edition. Somebody pops you in the head with a headshot, you're gonna feel it right here, like a little right in the side of your head, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it'll be as in depth as their haptic stuff with the controller that they're pushing.
Be careful with that haptic feedback on the head. That head injury is is it repetitive head injury or whatever it is? Like apparently even being in one of those like water thing. What's a jet ski?
Oh.
Jet ski is actually bad for your head because of all the vibrating happening. It actually causes.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Your skull. Yeah. So I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know about this one. I get the feeling of being there, but that's my initial reaction to hearing haptic feedback on your head. It's probably not a great idea.
Yeah, I mean they're going to do it. It'll be light and it'll be like a little sort of thing. It's not going to be anything that like shakes your head. Although maybe it's adjustable. Who knows? They have to be careful there. Sure. Anyway, there's a bunch of other stuff. The controllers are going to be more like what you see with the Quest 2, more kind of hand wraparound stuff that's made for VR. All that sort of thing. It's got eye tracking. So in theory, that eye tracking, which helps with foveated rendering and other stuff, will also be an in-world thing. So I'm in the game, or let's say, John, you're in the game, and you're walking around going, I'm doing quests in this game, I'm doing stuff. And as you walk by NPCs, and if you glance at one of those NPCs, in theory, they'll be able to programmatically recognize you're looking at them and then look back at you and go, oh, he's looking at me. He's looking at me. And know that your gaze is wherever your gaze is.
Sony's gonna know I foveated all the lady NPCs in the village.
They are. So
they're gonna be like, put him on the list.
Yeah,
foveating technology has told me he's a perv.
Yeah,
all that eye tracking data is going back to Sony HQ.
Well, just like looking up, I respect all NPCs.
Yeah. Oh, the
weird thing about VR is like it's because no one's real in there. So I've like watched just like people taking these videos of like a small town hockey game.
Yeah.
Like just regular home videos, but then in the full 3DR. And what I noticed about my behavior in there is in real life, if you find someone interesting to look at, you don't stare at them because they'll see you, right?
Right.
You're just like, what's up with that guy's booger, right? You kind of glance and you're like, there's clearly a booger in his nose, as you know, but maybe you're wrong. The last thing you want to do if is stare at them. But in VR, you can just be like, I see your booger. It's there. You can just look at them and there's no consequence to that behavior in a VR video setting.
Right.
So I can't remember what the point of this was. There you go.
Point is, I'm going to be staring at a lot lot of NPCs.
Yeah, a lot of ladies.
Exactly. Guys too. Everybody. Anything you find interesting, like in any sort of social it does. Like, yes, your first thing is like, I'm going to lech, but it's like, no, it's like anybody. Like, it's anything you find interesting. It's weird to realize that anything else that's sentient, will react to your.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at them.
Yeah.
So it changes the dynamic when the human beings around you, literally around you in the full sort of space. You're like, I can just look at them.
Yeah.
And they can't know.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because here's an example. Let's say you see some weird little old man on a bench in real life. You would never walk over there and get within an inch of him and kind of check his face out real close.
Just be.
Yeah. You'd never do that.
Yeah.
But in a game setting, when you see an interesting looking NPC, an old man sitting on a bench, and you're like, wow, the detail's crazy on this. You'll be okay going over there and just checking him out, looking at every crease and wrinkle and trying to find flaws and all that.
Yeah, and eating a Snickers while you do it and stuff. Going,
right. Snickers.
That said, I did work with somebody who did this in real life. And
my Lord.
And they're annoying, right? Like, that's not proper behavior.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun. But the point is, like, with this technology, the theory is that if you did this scenario with the old man on the bench, he won't just sit there and let you stare at him like you could in a first-person shooter or something, like even now on a computer screen. He's going to go and look at you. Like, he's going to react to you being there. That's when things get interesting, potentially. Because then our human instincts, like Bo is describing, kick in. Like, now what are we going to do? Oh, I'm being noticed. And even though I know this isn't real, it's adding to this sense of reality that I'm, that makes it virtual.
It's always fun when a game calls you out. Even if it's just a little trick where, like, if you look at something in your Doom game and then an NPC goes, oh, you find that interesting. Like, those are always fun moments when they work, So.
Or the near achievement that gets you in trouble if you tried to look up the character's dress.
Is that true?
And then it gives.
Is there an achievement for that?
Yeah, if you try and aim the camera up the dress, you get an achievement for it for being a perv, basically.
Well, John, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I have to
get that achievement.
I have to test these things so that other people don't fall for them. That's really what.
You gotta make sure that your characters are wearing underwear, or else maybe you don't agree with the politics of the game.
Yeah, I think Death Stranding did it as well. If you foveate Norman Reedus.
If you foveate the Reedus,
yeah,
that'll get you. The way they described it is you would get input from other characters in the game if you just glanced at something. So this is kind of cool if you think about it. If you were in a situation where the quest giver or I'm just using that as an example, but the NPC says, Were you able to find the body or whatever? You don't have to say yes or choose from a wheel or, any of that. You could just look down at the body and they'll go, oh, I see. Like there are some narrative possibilities with this. I'm not saying they'll do it right. You
encounter a virtual De Niro and he's like, you looking at me? Are you looking at me?
Why not?
I'm better rendered.
Yeah.
Better rendered than anybody else here, so you must be looking at me.
There you go. Here's the thing.
Imagine a moment where, because like you get cowarded by gangsters or like, don't look me in the eye and they pull a gun on you. And if you do, if you keep looking, you get shot. And if you don't,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
I feel like this is not how it's going to work, but I love all these ideas very much.
I do too. And the other biggest problem with that is they don't have, unlike even the quests and tethered to PC stuff, they have a lot of options that are kind of dark webby. Like you can get some weird shit. And I don't just mean porn and things. I just mean like weird demos that you're not going to get anywhere else, or side load something that wasn't meant for your retail device. And Sony, that's all locked down with Sony. You're going to have Sony experiences, and that's all you're going to have. That'll be it.
I guess I'd need to see how it stacks up versus a Quest, because the Quest is the obvious purchase unless there's a killer app on the PS2.
Yeah.
On the VR, what?
PS2, yeah. PS2. Big hot new console, the PS2.
The Horizon Call of the Mountain thing looks like it.
Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
No, it isn't. What? Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
Horizon. You're like, you idiot, Bo. You don't know the names of anything. Mountain. You act like you're all smart.
All right. That actually clears up a little confusion I had, because they did say the stage thing was like Horizon Forbidden West, the upcoming this and that, and you're going to be able to visit that world in VR. And so my initial thing was, oh, that game will be VR playable. That isn't what they meant. It's this little spin out Horizon Call of the Mountain. You helped me clarify that finally. Thank you. I'm the dummy. I was confused.
I just figured it out 2 seconds ago. Don't feel bad. You were talking and I glanced at the article.
I just like that Scott felt so strongly about the title. He's like, Bo, it's not called Call of the Mountain.
Well, I didn't.
Although I take a Walmart VR experience. Does that exist?
Did you see it? It's insane. Have you seen that Walmart thing?
No.
Oh, what the frick is even that? So everybody, here's what I'm saying. We need to prepare for this because it's going to get weird. Everybody is wanting to jump on that metaverse wagon, even if they don't understand what the hell it is.
Go to a barbershop VR, like get a fake haircut. Just
if you want to. Well, their thing is to say, hey, come to Walmart and virtually shop for everything you need. Reach out and grab that soda, put it in your thing. Guess what? That soda is now in real time being put into a cart and brought to your house, along with whatever else you buy.
I don't want to go to actual reality Walmart.
I don't either. Well, you didn't. You don't have to.
They actually hire youthful, bright, happy people to attend you in the VR experience versus the very sad reality of VR or non-VR Walmart.
This doesn't have vomit on the floor. This doesn't have a guy with weird underwear and his butt showing. Like, you're not gonna have to deal with any of that. It's just the experience of grab stuff, and then a lady pops in and goes, "Hi," to make your shopping experience more or whatever. I mean, it's all very Blade Runner-y kind of. I'm kind of getting that vibe out of it.
Yeah.
But
you're still by the way, AI. Once an AI can have a chat with you about kids, and the pool and stuff, and
exactly. And by the way, I'm all in on this. Like, people may take away from this that I'm like, what a bunch of dumb ideas. I don't think so. I think these are going to be weird stepping stones. I'm old enough to remember Microsoft Bob and that damn paperclip and all these other attempts to do things that are kind of like AI, kind of like we're in the future. It's all stepping stones, tablets, and everything else that we're finally getting to a place where some of this could be in our reality in the future. And I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'll shop like this anywhere. I don't have a problem with any of it.
I mean, honestly, so sometimes with new technology ideas like this, the big issue I have is I go, well, why on earth would you do that? Like, the big question is why. Yeah. I can actually tell you this as somebody who's been buying groceries online from Walmart for basically since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
One of the big issues of doing that method versus going to the store is sitting down in front of a web browser. You're not thinking very well about what you need. At least I'm not, because my life is chaos and I don't remember what I need day to day. I don't have a grocery list that I've been putting together. And being able to walk up and down virtual aisles and look at things and go, oh yeah, we do need that, would actually be beneficial to me.
Right. Right.
Like, and that's not to say that completely justifies it for my one use case, but I sit here thinking about it, and for the initial like why reaction, there's why. That's a really decent reason to go with.
Right. There used to be, I mean, there have been times in our history where you could say, well, why would I ever want like a fully functioning computer in my pocket? And now we have them. We don't even.
I made fun of my mom. She was like, guys, I want to get a computer. And I was like, what do you need a spreadsheet calculator for, Mom?
Yeah, Mom.
The bratty little kid was like, you don't need that. That's just a big old paperweight. I didn't say that. But it was essentially the idea was like, why are you going to spend that much money on a calculator? Fancy calculator, Ma.
Yeah. Yeah, no, as I'm saying, I think that there have been times like that. And yes, in the initial stages, often things are unwieldy and weird and we don't know what to do with it. And, Second Life's like this crazy proto version of what everybody thinks we're aiming for now, but they're not going to be the thing, right? No one's going to go back to Second Life. Hey, the metaverse, it was here the whole time. Let's make dildos fly in space or whatever they do in there. I don't know what they do in there now, but the point is like, there's a future of something like this. The headsets are smaller, the access is easier, the price of entry is cheaper. It's eventually something. But right now, we got to fiddle with all the uniterated weirdness. And part of me loves that. Part of me loves that it's weird and untested and we don't know. And on the one hand, Zuckerberg thinks you're going to want to do this. But on the other hand, Apple, who's rumored to have a headset of their own coming out this year, and they haven't told anybody about it, they've got their own idea about what you might want to be doing. And then there are whole other people that are like, whatever mine is, I want it to be Deckard's, something he would wear in the middle of the rainy Tokyo nights, or LA, I guess is where he was. Always reminds me of Tokyo. But it's going to be this weird thing where we're going to offload our brains. And, like everybody's got their idea about what they want. We're going to get to a place where it susses down and all the particulates are moved out and all we're left with is whatever the gold is. And then that's what our future mixed reality will be. And it's fine.
Exactly what people say NFTs are.
No, they don't.
Yours is actually fun as opposed to what they're playing.
The problem with NFTs is, actually, I have similar beliefs. I believe the NFT thing will suss itself out over time. Right now, it's just a giant scam bag. But there are technological implications with what NFTs are based on and the blockchain in general, Bitcoin in general. A bunch of that stuff will evolve into whatever it's going to be. What it is right now is not that ultimate. That is not what it will be.
I feel like the reason we're talking about it more is because MLMs have always been around.
Yeah,
like they're constant, and it's just if we're not in that like we could be financial people doing a financial podcast, always talking about that kind of stuff, and that could be our everyday. But because it's not our everyday, but it's bubbling to the surface of everyday, we're annoyed because we just hate that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always going to be new financial schemes and people trying to push it in various ways. Just like I think your observation's astute, John. It's literally the same thing, but we just don't give a shit about that stuff. And most people think it sounds.
The one thing everyone
I've heard that the blockchain. I can't remember where I heard it, but a non-financial use for blockchain having to do with plane tickets and refunds and stuff. It was not financial at all. It was just applying the technology to plane ticketing transactions. That really really convinced me this technology, that sounds like a really good implementation and use, like getting your refunds if the flight gets canceled, like stuff like that, like making plane ticketing really improving it essentially. I couldn't do it justice. I don't remember the details, but I remember going like, oh, this is a non-financial application of blockchain.
Yeah, there's a ton of those in the works, and I believe one day that'll all make sense to people, and it'll make real sense to real people, not just edgelord tech bros who are like, ooh, the new thing. I don't mean that. I mean like regular everyday people will go, oh, I can do that with my plane tickets, or oh, I can do that with my reservations for this hotel, or whatever the application is. It'll find its way, and it'll find its way in a way that people then start to trust things around it. It'll be like the internet and buying online and all that stuff. It all comes into its own. It's just right now, this idea that it's this massive gold rush is just really weird to me.
Maybe we'll all have our own blockchains at home. Like you'll have your blockchain box that you used to keep track of whose turn it is to do dishes and stuff at your house. Like,
maybe
every family will have a blockchain ledger at home for some reason.
We used to have a blockchain where I live, but then a second person got a bike and nobody could agree on who got the chain.
Oh, that's a shame. Nobody wants to share a chain.
No. Well, I mean, we shared as well as we could.
Yeah. Well, look,
up to the shame of
you
having a blockchain.
You don't always have enough for everyone, so you got to share your chain. I get it. I get that. Anyway, there's not much else to say about this except for I have an exciting bit of news.
Oh.
I was
able your own Bitcoin.
No.
Frogcoin coming
Frogcoin.
in 2022-21.
Coin pants. Get yours now. Actually, Core Coin would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Core Coin would be good.
Coin.
It exists as of this moment. This is its nascent moment.
Yeah, we're in.
Core Coin.
No, not that, but the Sony take. I was finally able to, with the help of an awesome listener, procure a PS5. So we're going to suddenly have actual PS5 hands-on coverage on the show, not just, us pontificating about it. And that's why I asked you guys the other day in our Slack. I'll share this with listeners. I just put out the question: if you're going to get one PlayStation game, and by the way, no knock on Sony. I'm excited to have their console just so I can have it and be able to compare it and all the things we do for shows and stuff. But you look at like the list of exclusives that I can't get anywhere else. It's not that great for the first year. It's okay, but it's not that great. Or at the very least, it's stuff that we kind of knew about or have played a bit before. And so it's not like groundbreaking. And you could say, well, that's true of Microsoft. Everyone's played Halo. Everyone's played... I know, but Game Pass has made it so it's really hard to ignore all the other stuff that you also got to play that had nothing to do with Microsoft other than they're part of Game Pass. So I asked these guys, should I get Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I think comes with the first Spider-Man game remastered? I think. If not, I already own it, so I think that gives it to me anyway. Or the Ratchet and Clank thing. Or what was the other one? Oh, I added a third, but I didn't ask you guys about it.
I was gonna say we only had two options. What's
well, I didn't know they did it. They made a remastered 60 frame plus per second, all upticked for the PS5 version of the Japanese sword guy game. What's it called?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. That's the one. Yeah. Tsushima. Which of those three should Scott get and play as a good example of, hey, here's an awesome game? Because they don't have a service where I can just go play stuff for $12 a month. I mean, they do, but it's nowhere near Game Pass. So I'm going to get a game and I got to decide which one to get. And John's like, well, I'm a huge Spider-Man guy, so that's how I'd go. And Bo's like, man, I don't know. Ratchet and Clank's supposed to be awesome, and it's new, and you haven't played that sort of game in a long time.
Well, it's because I've played a Spider-Man game before, but not a Ratchet game. That was my base.
Yeah, and I think that's a valid thing to say because I have too. But I'm kind of also itching for open world, and Spider-Man is very much my kind of open world, and they're both Insomniac games, so you're getting quality stuff anyway.
Ghosts in there, you should definitely play Ghosts.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking.
Like, you should definitely play Ghosts. You've played a Spider-Man game. You've played Ratchet game, I think, right? You've played a Ratchet and Clank in your past at one point?
Yeah, I have. Years ago.
Have you ever played a Ghost of Sashimi game?
No. There's only been one, and I did not play it.
Right, and it's well-regarded game. I mean, you like to try new things, too. It's just knowing you. But comfort food is good, too. Yeah. But if you can't decide, I would go with
People are raving about Returnal.
And buy all three of them.
Maybe Returnal's as good as everyone says. I might check that out, but my main thing is... I just want a big flagship title to mess with before I get my hands on Forbidden West, which I'm very excited about, and God of War and all that.
Returnal is interesting.
Yeah. But it is going to be weird because I'm going to have this option, but it's really going to just be there for when I want the big tent poles, Like I'm never gonna.
PlayStation is gonna come out with a pass. I thought that was recent. We might have missed it.
No, we talked about it some. We don't know what it is yet. Is the problem? They just said they're gonna enhance the Plus program and add a bunch of stuff, and they didn't. They gave no details. Like, will it include first day one releases of their newest biggest IPs? They didn't say. They kind of need. I think they need to do that to make it worth it, or to make it competitive with what Microsoft's offering. And if they did, it'd be amazing.
They got some work to do in the relationship department, right?
Yeah.
Because Microsoft has a lot of solid partners.
Yeah. A bit. It would be cool if they did that. I would love it if they did that, but I don't see. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see what they announce. My guess is this year's E3, which we have a news bite about in a minute. We'll probably hear more about their plans.
I mean, they couldn't even put the port of Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC without making it $70. I think that sends a pretty clear message that Sony has a hard time thinking of their products as something they can give away for free.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Like I'll bet it's pulling teeth for them to go. Really, for $12 a month, we're gonna let them have all of it? Like I bet they're dying for that. They just don't like that idea.
There's people at Sony who own Xboxes, right?
Oh, sure.
We're playing on game. It's right. Like the thing is, they're not in some cut off commune where they're like, "What's this Xbox doing?" You know.
Well, no,
they
not
probably
all
own
people,
it and are playing it. You know,
there are some that I think are clearly jamming up the works. Because their business practices to this point suggest otherwise.
Yeah. Sure, I mean it depends on the inner politics. There's whole divisions that aren't related to video games at Sony, and it could be those people who don't know that are involved in decision making. But
right,
yeah.
Oh, I should mention this is a digital only console. I should have mentioned that just for the heck of it, because I'll never buy a disc for it because it literally can't take them. So there you go. It's one of those. Well, they're cheaper. Plus, I don't buy discs at all. Unless you're going to say to me, hey, Amazon's got Ghost of Tsushima for $8, then otherwise I'm just like, well, I'm just getting digital stuff. Why am I even bothering? I don't use discs. In fact, I need to put something in the Series X and run it just so it doesn't get so much dust buildup that I ruin the drive in that thing for lack of use, because I don't use that drive at all. I've used it once, I guess, for Mad Max Fury Road Blu-ray.
That's it.
And that's the other thing. If I get into 4K Blu-rays more or something, I doubt I will. But if I do, the Xbox will run those, so I don't need the PlayStation to have that. It'll be fine without it. But anyway, we'll see how that goes and which one I get. I'm leaning Ghosts now because I want an open world game, and that one's new-ish compared to. I did play that Spider-Man game a lot, and it sounds like this is like more of that, and that's cool. Yeah. But if I'm really going to spend my time in something, I think Ghost of Tsushima might be it. And the things that people complained about with that game, that it was just like so much to do in the world, like a huge map with a bunch of crap to get done, that's a selling point for those games. I like that stuff. So
I mean, that's a lot of if you like open world games, you probably want that anyway.
Yeah. I feel like it's probably more for me than any of the rest of it. I mean, I know I'm not going to get Souls Dark or Dark. What is it? Dark? No.
Souls Dark?
Demon Souls. I'm not going to get that remake because I don't like those games. They're too hard. That's not my life. I can't do it. All right. There's our first story. We have more. Some of these are quick. Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass, but likely still as its own subscription. But you'll still see some Ubisoft in there. Yeah. I mean,
still its own subscription?
Well,
it depends how expensive of an add-on it is.
Right. I agree. Right now, they do this with somebody.
EA, I believe.
EA? Stadia also does it.
So, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Ubisoft has its own. I was subscribed to Ubisoft Plus for a few months.
Yeah, they have their own thing.
I dropped off Valhalla. I was really enjoying Valhalla, but I never purchased it outright, and I've been eyeballing it on Xbox. I just have so many games that I'm like, I can't buy it if I'm literally
game's
not gonna
good.
play it. But
I should just go play
Valhalla
that.
is super good. I didn't stop for any other reason other than I think I unsubbed and just sort of moved on.
Well, I think that was the deal. Is the Ubisoft Connect only worked on consoles as a way to sync your saves, I think, and that was only with like the last 3 or 4 titles they've made. So I'll tell you, if they roll this out and go, it's part of Game Pass, like the way EA does with EA Play, that would be a huge get. That'd be massive. If it's only another $12 add-on thing, like I'm buying, Showtime with my Prime subscription, I'm less excited. But we'll see.
Yeah, it can't be that rich. It's got if it's an add-on, it's got to be cheap. Wasn't EA Play an add-on?
I mean, there's a free version of EA in Game Pass, and there's a paid version. I don't know how well they connect and work together, but I know you can do it. Same with Steam. Actually, does the same thing with EA, where
I might have it. I buy Xbox Ultimate, right? So there's different tiers of Xbox Game Pass. I guess I don't know. I just buy the Ultimate.
I've decided the big prediction of the year for me is that Steam, along with hopefully a successful rollout of the Steam Deck, they're going to launch a Game Pass like service. Meaning, I think this is like, it's a tall order because you're talking about a lot of third parties, and I don't know how they're going to pay everybody, but if anybody could take advantage of this idea of $15 a month get you all you can eat buffet, Steam would just like tear that shit up.
Do you think Steam could do that though, with how big their library is?
That's what I'm saying.
They could charge $100 a month and not pay everybody you'd have access to.
Well, it would
like,
be
even remotely close. But
it wouldn't be. It would be like Microsoft Game Pass. MS Game Pass isn't every game. It's just their games plus third parties they've roped in to be a part of it. So it'd be like that. It would be. All the Valve stuff would be included. Obviously, it just seems like a no-brainer. But then, you'd have maybe 100 other titles that are all, partnered up and doing it. But it wouldn't be everybody. I could just see them doing that.
I think it's going to happen now, because this is one of those moments, and I've mentioned it before, where Scott says something that my brain just immediately goes, wrong, no, to, and then turns out being 100% true and right. Like when he was like, you know what, I bet the Destiny 2 people talked to the Diablo people to figure out how to fix their game. And I was like, no, they didn't. You don't get to just make up a story because you like the Diablo people. What are you talking about? Yeah. And then it ended up being true.
They totally
so, did. I have a weird feeling that Scott might end up being right about this, because when he says Steam will do a Game Pass immediately, I'm like, no, absolutely not. They won't. Yeah. But maybe they will.
If you think about it, like we've talked about so many companies today since we got online.
Sure.
And they all have subscriptions.
Yeah.
Except for Valve. Yeah, and there is EA Play. Like, why? And Valve is like makes money hand over. Like, why wouldn't they? Yeah. I think you could even just say a subscription to all Valve games, like 2015 and older. It wouldn't have to be even new stuff. That library of, like, we only see like 0.01% on our Steam homepage, and we search around for whatever's just hot. Like that there is a massive pile of games.
Oh, yeah. And some would come in and some would go out, and games that got ignored in 2015 because no one heard of some small indie, they'll sign up just because they'll get some rad percentage out of it or something. Like, it won't be a million games, but it'll be a lot of games, and then some will be like, hey, this month so-and-so and so-and-so are coming in. Sweet, brand new games on the Steam Game Pass unit. And then at the end of the month, we're losing these two games. They're going off the deal. It'll be just like Game Pass.
And then I can buy the adult visual novel add-on. That way I wouldn't actually have to purchase any of the adult games in order to try them out and talk about them on Core.
Finally, we can try them without looking like total pervs.
I can try Be a Dick. I think there's a game called Be a Dick on there.
Really? Is that real? Is that real?
Yeah. It's some visual novel sex thing. I mean, I didn't really look into it. It's just the first letter. So you're some frat jerk, I guess.
Great.
So the first letter is like.
I was like, I didn't really look into it. Here's the rich lore.
Exact lore.
The extent of my interest in it was figuring out what the first letter of Dick was, because it was Greek letter IK. Yeah. So it was like being a ick, but I didn't know what that letter was, and I clicked on it and I saw it was sex, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's Dick. Like, and it left. That's the extent of my research on this information.
That's probably the extent of the lore of the game as well. But
sure. Yeah. The rest is dongs and things of that nature. But like things of a dong nature.
Dong-like other dong-like.
But anyways, I could buy the Things of a Dong Nature add-on pass to my Steam Pass, and on a lonely February night, I can make some hot chocolate and make some hot chocolate.
February. Bo's planning for next month right now.
Yeah, why not? Heavy winter time. Gotta hunker down.
February with hot chocolate and the dong-like appendage pack.
There you have it.
Hard out here for a pimp. Anyways.
The other bit of news, we didn't put it in here, but Ubisoft also announced that Extraction, what is it? Rainbow Six Extraction?
No, is it Rainbow Six or Ghost Recon?
Now I don't know.
It's one of the Clancy's.
It's one of those Clancy's. Anyway, that game is coming out day one on Game Pass It's the first big Ubisoft day one, just straight up Game Pass game.
We panned that trailer, and then when we watched that live, we were like, generic McGeneric didn't left for.
Yeah, kind of feel that way right now in general about most of their stuff. It's bumming me out. I've had a
when I saw it making the news article rounds, I was like, who cares?
Yeah. No, there's a reason that thing made it on Game Pass, because I think they're going to have a hard time selling it without some kind of free exposure or perceived free exposure, because who cares right now?
Well, we'll allow some shovelware in our Game Pass, but if it becomes a home for all shovelware, then that'll devalue the Game Pass.
Is Extraction the one with zombie or monsters? Like, it's the one where it's not just people, right?
Right, but it's not zombies or monsters. It's like a virus that turns people into aliens or something. More alien, like an alien virus. It's dumb.
Okay.
I think there's this niche audience that likes Call of Duty Zombies, right? They like military shooter with generic movie trope in their game. And I think that's the crowd that it appeals to.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. The thing, too, is that... it is Rainbow Six, it says here. I found it. It's Rainbow Six, not Ghost Recon. I guess Ghost Recon is the other one.
I stand by my take on this, which was the big complaint I always have about Tom Clancy games is I don't like games where you just fight other dudes all the time, because it just kind of ruins itself for me. It's like, I'm just going to sit here and shoot dudes, and then you're going to come up with some stupid reason why this dude takes 8 shots to kill instead of another dude. Like, I hate it so much. Yeah. But at the same time...
dude logic.
At the same time, like, that's what Tom Clancy is. Why are we changing it into something that I would particularly like? Like, you're not going to win me over by putting aliens in your Tom Clancy game, but you might lose all the people that were like, but I like shooting dudes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do run that risk anytime they try to put supernatural stuff in their games. And if they do it in a fun, jokey way, like the 2 recent Ghost Recon games, you could fight a predator in Wildlands. And that was fun because it was rare and it was like a weird Easter egg. And when you ran into it, it was like super cool to even deal with it. But it was never meant to be like, oh, here's a really important part of the lore of this game. It was just like, what a weird Easter egg in this game. And I'm going to go play through it and get the cool gear from it. And then I'm done. Same thing with the newer one whose name I can never remember. Ghost Recon Blacklisted. Ghost Recon
Drones.
Broken Sky. I don't know what it is.
Punisher.
It's basically Earlobe McGee in the Punisher.com. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, that's going to bug me. Had some of that too. There's a whole Terminator DLC in there, and it's fine, but it's not the main focus of the game. I don't mind when they do that, but when the game is aliens, I'm going to be like, oh. Because the game is such a serious... If they called it
Tom Clancy's Aliens, I might be in. That's actually a
good title. That's a good for whatever it is.
Tom Clancy's
Hideo Kojima's Aliens. I mean, I'm in. Or Hideo Kojima.
Well, ever since he's been dead, ever since Tom Clancy left this mortal space, he hasn't written any of this. So I don't know if he'd be happy to hear that his beloved, Rainbow Six stuff is like super serious book series, like really serious.
Only if you devote 8 to 10 pages to describing the mechanics of the alien craft and how it works. Then he's fine with it.
Yeah. I've read one Tom Clancy novel, and I don't remember any of it.
What was it? Do you remember?
I don't even remember the book. I just know I read a Tom Clancy book at some point.
Oh man,
probably inspired back in the day when by playing one of those early Tom Clancy games and thinking. I read a lot of Michael Crichton, and I suppose, and I'd run out of Michael Crichton to read at that time, I remember. So I tried Tom Clancy. I don't know why. But I don't remember the book at all.
He's all right.
I tried to read Rainbow Six.
Yeah, how'd that go for you?
Not enough Ding Chavez.
Isn't that your problem with everything, though, in life?
Yep.
Not enough Ding Chavez.
Yeah.
The one and only one I ever read was Clear and Present Danger, and I thought it was good, but I wasn't drawn to like, now I got to read every Tom Clancy book. But I had a a guy I worked for who owes me $89,000, by the way, and will never pay me because he's a freaking ripoff artist. But at the time, he had this giant, in his office, a giant shelf full of Tom Clancy books, in some cases duplicates of the same book. I don't know why. but he was so into Tom Clancy and so into all of that stuff.
$89,000 to spend, so why not get
why not buy some Tom Clancy books with the money you never paid me for? I mean, that was all before that, but anyway, not to dig up old dirt, but he was so into it, and he used to. I mean, he treated that stuff like Bibles. Like everything in him was like, my whole life is.
I mean, sometimes you do get carried away with something you like. Like I know I have 5 copies of the book On Directing Film by David Mamet, just because that was a life-changing book.
That's pretty cool.
And one of them was falling apart, but I don't remember why I bought copies 3 and 4 and 5.
Wow.
But yeah.
I'm that way with Watchmen
I have it
comics.
signed by him too, and like I haven't signed the original one that I read.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
It's probably somewhere around here.
That's awesome. I have that with Watchmen comics. I've bought it like 4 or 5 times, and I don't know why, because they're all fine.
I had to tape the front. I have it nearby.
Yeah.
I think it's the one he's... Oh, yeah, he signed a bunch of my stuff, so it's just a dinky little signature in this one.
David Mamet, though. That's cool.
I met him.
Yeah. That guy, he's got the whole Sales Guys movie. What's that called?
Glenn
Ross. That's way better than Sales Guys movie.
I saw that performed live in the theater.
Yeah?
Awesome. Yeah,
any famous actors on stage?
No, it was Ottawa actors. They would not call any of them famous, but their performances were excellent.
Nobody in Ottawa is famous? Or Ottawa, as
well, I mean, we got our Tom Cruise and Norm Macdonald claims, but none of them stay here and live here. I seen Stickler once at a Starbucks.
Stickler?
A lot of films and shit get filmed here, and this used to be a hotbed for animation.
Yeah.
Because my sister is actually taking animation in college right now because she wants to get in. That's what she wants to do for work. And so she's trying to break into the Ottawa animation scene. There's a lot of Disney stuff gets done here, for example.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and a lot of voice acting, coincidentally. A lot of cartoon voice acting.
So wait a minute. Can you...
I'm not in the scene, so I can't really say too much.
Who's Stickler?
I did do a workshop.
You mentioned Stickler. Who's that?
From American Pie, whatever his name is.
Stifler. All right.
Oh, Stifler. Yeah. Oh, they call him Stickler.
You call him Stickler. I'm like, wait.
That famous actor, Stickler.
Yeah, old Stickler. Boy,
My
howdy.
friend Mike and I were playing backgammon, and we saw Stifler.
What?
The backgammon part. My friend Mike's a bit of a Luddite, so he's like, let's play backgammon. And I'm like, okay. And we played backgammon because,
Is it fun? I don't know that I've ever played a game of backgammon ever in my life.
What's important about games sometimes that you spend time with the ones you love.
That was very diplomatic. Wow.
Yeah, I like that.
It's all right.
I'm sure it's a fine game. It's been around forever. It must be good.
Game.
Yeah.
It's a fine game.
I like chess. I play chess here and there. I'm not great, but I'm okay. I like chess. It created my love of turn-based strategy, except that I trained on a board my brother made in high school, and it had 1 extra row, and it wasn't supposed to. That effed me up my whole life. So nice job, Matt. Let's move on to this story. Hey, China's crackdown on gaming has put 14,000 companies out of business. That's a lot. And honestly, this is why you're seeing a whole lot of, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but personally, the ads I'm getting fed on social media, various types and sources and stuff, a lot of Chinese stuff showing up there, more than usual. I know there's always been, but a lot of Chinese games popping because some of these companies are like, we're getting shut down in our own country. We need to get these games out in other markets, in the UK and here and other Western places, Korea, in Asia and Singapore and that sort of thing. And so there's a real push for it because the government has cracked down so hard on what it means to be making games, getting those games approved. They've frozen approvals, so you can't even get a game approved in China right now. And it's really hosed a lot of people, including 14,000 companies out of business. We have any thoughts on this? Feelings? Comments?
First of all, 14,000 seems like a lot of gaming. Like that. My initial reaction was like 14,000. That means like if they release like a game, if they all release a game that's 14,000 games, I'm like, most of them must be mobile games and stuff. Like,
I'm gonna do the math. Like if
imagine there was a year where 14,000 games of the quality of Resident Evil Village were released. You're just like, like it's insane, right?
Yeah.
Like
1 billion.
So,
okay, look at this math. 14,000 as a percentage of 1 billion. I'm having to have this do it for me. Okay, how much is, let's see, what percentage of one? How many zeros are in a billion?
Hold on. I haven't gotten past the premise. Why are you trying to figure this out?
I'm trying to figure out how many. If 14,000 seems like a lot, then how many companies is it per capita? In other words, I think it's just 14,000 seems like a lot, but I think it's because the country has 1 billion people in it, and so everything scales up. We have 400 million here. This might be 200 companies here or something, 300 companies, something like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's just a mind-blowing number. I'm not here to say it's wrong or anything. I'm like, there are 14,000 gaming companies. Like, part of me just thinks it's kind of like indie developers too. I'm guessing like 2-man teams or whatever, because that's a lot. Unless including gaming companies is beyond just video game companies. So I think they have a lot of cafes and stuff there as opposed to here.
Yeah.
So I imagine those businesses are probably hurting as well. Anywhere you go to play outside, although I guess the pandemic's probably already put the hurt on those places.
Yeah, that's true. So I did the math. I'm an idiot. Of course, this should have been easy in your own head because it's all divisive by 10, but it's 0.0014%. Yeah. Like, I know it's probably not a lot. It's like when you try to wrap your whole head around 14,000 different gaming products. Let's say, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I mean,
making probably games I haven't played.
It's probably like, a lot of shovelware and garbage, to be honest. I don't know, because it just seems like a lot.
Chinese mobile, like they probably have their own Chinese mobile gaming market, and mobile notoriously has tons and tons of shovelware in addition to quality games. So, it's a big number. I'm like,
it's crazy.
14,000 gaming companies, like,
yeah.
So I think a lot of those are going under, I guess.
Yeah, they're done. They're out, at least for now. So we'll see if that means anything for us. But my guess is it's an influx of trying to find other markets that will approve your games, and then the country still has to approve any companies that want to operate over there. So if they, I don't know what any of this means for that. Like, it's weird how that's entangled in government there, but there's that. Hey, E3 2022 will be online only again due to the pandemic. How's that feel? You guys?
It feels like we're just continuing to live in this nightmare we can't get out of, despite seeming to have a pretty clear roadmap on what would need to be done to do that.
Yeah, I hate the quote, but that epidemiologist that once, I don't remember his name, that once said, at any given point in time, we are 2 weeks away from eradication. But humans, there's too many of us. Not everyone, if we all complied for 2 weeks, everybody across the planet, no more virus, gone, completely gone. Even those that have it, it'll be out of the system by them and they'll be isolated from everyone. You'd be done and we'd be past this and we never have to deal with that thing again. I mean, maybe he's not right in some scientific way. I don't know. But the point is, like, we'll never do that. Humanity's too hard at scale. We can't handle ourselves.
Everybody's the main character in their own story, and that trip to McDonald's is the most important thing for our protagonist to do.
Yep. You just said it. That's exactly right. We were talking about.
If I didn't spend any of my money, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, you would. And the whole world's about you. And that's what everyone thinks. And because they all think that, no way this ever happens. So, as a result, E3 online only. Personally fine with it. I never go to the event, but I do like covering it, and I liked what they did last year. Actually quite liked it. And that had some attendance, right? Didn't they do some stuff last year? Like some kind of limited...
I don't remember.
I don't remember now.
I think we... I remember. I thought
we watched the PC Gamer show. There was a PC Gamer show. Remember that...
Oh yeah, I got out of it last year. That was nice.
Yeah,
marketing.
Who watched that? Me and Bo watched it. I think.
It was
you and Bo did the PC gaming show,
and Burton Jr. was the other co-host.
Right.
I forget.
Oh, and that was the E3. That's the E3 where I got my Twitch DMCA strike takedown thing, and I had to fight to get it out, to get it expunged, and I did. I don't have it anymore, but. It was because of that show. There was some music. Oh, no. That was an Apple event. Sorry, take it back. Apple event had some music in it that got me in trouble. Anyway, it's all good now. It's all water under the bridge.
Right, yeah, there was one. And I think, for most of us, we were experiencing it through YouTube videos anyways. So,
yeah,
fine. But
it's fine with me.
It was okay. It just felt a little unstructured. Because I think last year was the year where everybody opted out and they all opted to do their own things. vaguely around E3. So it was like, instead of where it's typically like, okay, what are we covering over the next 3 days? It was like, okay, here's a Microsoft event. Then a couple days went by. Okay, now there's a Nintendo thing to talk about. And then a day went by. And then it's like, here's the PC gaming show and Ubisoft. And then it was like, okay, well, this feels a little like E3. It just felt a little all over the place.
And there was no Sony at all, if I recall, right?
Sony was gone.
They were just gone.
They didn't do anything at all.
They did something later or earlier. I don't remember which. There was a state of play thing or something. But that was a weird. So I hope this is less weird. I hope this is a little bit more cohesive or whatever. We'll still plan on, full coverage and all that. But, who knows? So there's that. Hey, one final note here. Who doesn't want to stick their hand in a mysterious box and feel the pain that comes through your arm, Dune style? Well, good news. Freaking, who makes this? I forgot now.
It's the same. There's a gamer bed. I don't remember who made the gamer bed. This is a great article.
I can't find
Japanese company Bohoot.
Oh, there it is. Bohoot hand massager. Yep, this is it. Yeah. So I like this idea, except this person's using the wrong hand. It should be your left hand, like your mouse hand, right? What are you doing?
Well, I suppose it's whatever hand feels cramped.
The left hand on the mouse?
Left-handed people? Like, come on, guys. It doesn't matter what hand.
I guess it'll take whatever hand you got to put in there, right?
Well, okay, yes. But Scott, you're not left-handed, right?
No, what I meant was right. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is Scott using his left hand on his mouse?
No, I looked at the picture and went, wait, why is it on the left side? And my brain went left hand. But he's I guess what I'm saying is if it's for your left hand and you're right-handed, that seems weird because that's not the hand that gets all the wear and tear. It's your mouse hand.
I'm right-handed. My cramping hand is the left hand. It's the keyboard hand, not the mouse hand.
Really?
Mouse hand, great. Mouse hand's full of action, limber, real good.
Are you like one of those
Heroes of the Storm? A few games, and left hands going like, yikes, man! Repetitive motion injuries.
That's actually probably true for APM-based games like that and StarCraft, that sort of thing.
Like I feel the left hand, the keyboard hand is the one that gets pretty cramped because of this. It just depends how you set things up, and also your personal body, the way it's made up. Maybe someone's left hand is super great, and the right hand's like, ow, mousy, ow.
Never really had bad hand cramps from playing games except for Diablo. It's the one exception where I have marathoned too much of that, and then I just get to this place where I'm like, what's wrong with my hand? Why doesn't it work right anymore? And it hurts for days. Yeah. I had some Diablo 3, especially after Reaper of Souls came out. I had some days at work where I was like, I have to call in sick because my hand hurts. Yeah. Like it was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life in my hand. Yeah. That's the exaggeration, but it was bad. It was really, really bad. Yeah. It just throbbed all the time. And I was like, why is this? I only played Diablo 3 for the past 12 hours. What's going on?
Yeah, how could this be with all that repetitive play? I mean, for me, actually being a bit of a variety gamer and playing on lots of different devices and controllers, and then mouse and keyboard, and then back and forth and switch and everything, I think that's benefited me in recent years because in my 20s, my hands were killing me. And it's because I played Quake or Unreal constantly. That's all I wanted to do was play Unreal Tournament for hours and hours and hours. And my WASD hand and my mouse hand were killing me all the time. I had to wear braces. I had a little vibrator thing you put in your hand, just like hold really tight, and it makes your joints hurt, but it helps. This is for them.
I got a few of those too.
That's what this is for. This is for you putting your hand in there. And then the Bene Gesserit lady will tell you to recite a bunch of shit and not pull your hand
Gesserit?
out. I'm just thinking of Dune again. It reminds me of the Dune box. Look at it. It's like stick your hand in there.
What doesn't help that the article put a big old picture of the Dune box literally as the header image. They'd rather show you the Dune box joke than the actual hand massager.
Yeah, they even said less pain.
Dune, you wouldn't get it.
They even have a less pain young Atreides as the subtitle there. I mean, whatever. I love Dune, so I have no problem with it, but. Anyway, we'll see. It's only a matter of time before somebody jams their man wiener in there. That's the part that I don't care for. I don't care for it.
A man wiener gets jammed into everything. Think of a thing, and a man wiener has been jammed into it. It's
probably true.
Do you think anyone's ever jammed?
Nobody thinks about it.
Okay.
Just think of anything.
Let me test it. Let me test it. Do you think anybody's ever put their wiener in a roll of toilet paper, the roll part?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
My gosh, you started so like softball. I'm like hornet's nest, bottle of glass, barbed wire. You're like in the tube that's right next to the toilet where your pants are down already anyway.
Really?
Oh well, don't shame Scott.
I don't feel shamed
that much.
I don't feel shamed. I guess I'm surprised that is that a common thing, and I'm just that dumb and naive.
I don't know if it's common, but I mean, I thought we were going to start Googling, has anybody ever put their wiener in weird places?
The premise.
That's so basic, I don't think we can even Google it because it wouldn't make the news feeds.
Okay.
It's the premise of the American classic film American Pie, starring Stifler.
Stickler, yeah.
Stickler.
And
it's
Stickler's
the premise
mom.
of that movie. That's, it's the Deus Ex Machina moment.
All right, I'm going to search for this begrudgingly because I just need to know. Here we go.
Don't really spare yourself, man.
7 weird places. Sorry, 7 really weird things men do with their units here. Let's see what we got. Putting it in things, it says. Okay.
Oh, they cut that whole category off.
Yeah.
Is that 7 or number 1?
That's number 1. Number 2 is nicknames, because why not? 3 is helicoptering. I don't know what that is.
It's in the Lonely Island song.
Whoa.
Now I know what it is. I get it now. Manage to get more closely than their 401k. I don't know what that means. I don't want to read that next one. Hold on. Okay, measuring it.
To this list.
This one I didn't read. Drip management? What?
Oh yeah.
What is that? Is that like how many times you shake? Because there's like that old saying, like if you shake it more than twice, you're just playing with it. Is that what it's about?
I've heard that before. Yes, that's probably what they mean.
Make sure to shake it, because we all know what happens when you don't shake and you get a little spot in your pants, and you got to walk around trying to block eyesight all day. You got a little pee spot in your pants.
This one says, seeing what objects you can hold or balance. It makes a natural dish towel rack. All right. What the frick? This is so dumb.
Yeah, I can't say I've done that one.
People are
I
weird.
have not used it as a dish towel rack.
Not yet. Not yet.
I think they're bloating this article.
I've never been nude, aroused, and going, where am I going to put this dish towel?
It needs to go somewhere.
There's 8 million people on Earth. Maybe one person had that experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens.
That was the point, is that just name anything, and there's someone stuck that.
A wiener has been in it, is what you're saying. Yeah. Great. Let's find out if it's been in this email.
That's a good question.
I got a quick early email to read. There's an early email in the show. I'm going to start spreading these around so we make sure to get to them. Nato wrote in. This is before we do we're going to do Dear Martha and our games this week and all that. Don't think we're leaving, everybody. It's just different timing. Happy New Year, Scott, Bo, and John. Thanks. Tavern Master is Zen Crack. I finally downloaded it on sale on January 2nd after your end-of-year episode where Scott praised it again. I played it for 6 hours straight. I have completed a second floor with rental rooms during my first session. Finally, I found something as relaxing and engaging as Animal Crossing, which I have not been able to play since surrendering the rights to my island to my wife, who became rather addicted to the game last year after a lifetime of playing 0 video games. All right, enough chit-chat. I got to start planning my third story, yours in this life and the next, Nato. Yeah, the Tavern Master rocks, man. That game, I beat it. I told you guys that.
I bought it.
Oh, you
I
did?
haven't played it yet, but I bought it.
Oh, you should totally play it. He just did a really cool update, too.
I did a big Steam purchase while the sale was on of a bunch of games, and that was one of them.
Nicely done. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it.
It was your cart from last week. You finally pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I had to delete like 15 games from it before I did, but yes, I did.
All right. Well, he's now living the dream along with the rest of us. talktothecore@gmail.com is where that came from. Now, everyone sit back and enjoy one of our Dear Martha Steam reviews. This is a review for YouTuber's Life 2. I avoid these games like they're kryptonite. So I'm excited to read this review because it's as close as I'll actually get to ever playing one of these YouTuber Life games. So here you go. YouTuber's Life 2 review from Steam. Enjoy.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now my review for YouTuber's Life 2. Martha, you can be a YouTuber in real life for free. Why pay $30? Yours in this life and the next, Drippy.
Wait, the name isn't really Drippy, is it?
It's a drippy.
A drippy.
Tom Clancy's drippy.
Yeah, because like drip management. We were just talking about that. That's, you know what? That was short, succinct, and to the point, and absolutely true. Why spend $30 on that? Go make a YouTube channel. Lame. I know I'm short sleeving it. What's the word? Short
shrifting it?
Short shrifting it.
Short changing.
Yeah. Maybe it's a wonderful little tycoon game. I don't know. But I can't play it because it's riding on this dumb I hate that idea.
Daniel J. Newman in the chat says, all three of you have expensive streaming gear. It's not free. It's true.
Well, I mean,
you're not wrong.
We
you
do
could
now.
Start it for free.
Yeah, you could. Yes, but I don't know how expensive. I mean, it's
I don't know. $80 webcam, $80 microphone. You're done.
Yeah, you're suddenly you're.
I don't produce high quality YouTube videos.
Quick little microphone purchase and your Markiplier or whoever is popular now. Who's the big one?
I don't know. It's not easy to come up with YouTube videos. Like you do have to understand how to use the software to make editing. Like. You're probably not sitting there going like, I want to make the world's shittiest YouTube videos. You probably think, I want to make videos like PewDiePie.
You got passion. You got drive. You're like, I'm going to edit this thing so that I can get a bunch of money and afford an editor.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But the broadcast, you can't just, anyways, whatever. Let's not get into
Here's the thing. Go do it if you want to, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird time to enter the YouTube fray. If you're trying to make a hot splash right now, I don't know how you do it. It's so saturated. It's just really hard to do.
Step 1, hate everything.
Hate everything. And also, you got to practice. Look in the mirror and go, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe. Say it over and over until Candyman shows up and shoots bees out of his mouth. All right.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. Oh, yeah, do that too. It's your boy.
Yep.
What up? What up, everyone? It's your boy. Ugh. It's making me kind of sick saying it. All right, here we go. Let's move on to what we played this week because why not? I played Loop Hero like crazy because we talked about it last week and I was reminded how much I love Loop Hero and I decided it was time to dust off Loop Hero after playing it obsessively last year for a big chunk of time and then letting it idle for a long time. I am now back in on Loop Hero and I love that game. That game is so good. It's so good. And I want, part of it was me going, all right, Scott, you're about to give this your game of the year, like the game that you played the most and felt the strongest about. Are you sure about that? Are you sure that was the right choice? 100%. It's amazing. It's so good. I love it. I love Loop Hero. I can't get enough of it. I'm tempted to get the Switch version just so I can have it with me wherever I go. I don't know if I will or not, but it sucked me way back in. I've been playing it in a little window during phone calls that are boring. I've had a couple of calls this week that were terrible. So I played that.
Talk about that public.
Oh, I don't. They're not going to listen.
Your business partners is like a terrible.
No, these people I talk to they were like ad people and like people that don't actually listen to podcasts. They're just like, they don't know. Right. Anyway, in fact, I sat through a really long call with a relative whose name I will not mention because some of my relatives listen and they'll tell this person. But they were so long-winded. I got through I think a whole warrior run, maybe I don't remember what I did. Maybe the necromancer. I don't remember.
You don't think they'll figure it out from that? You don't think there's someone in your family with a reputation for being long-winded and they'll go,
it's a fair point. Yeah. About. Maybe if you're right. You're probably right. And it's okay. It's fine. If they want to rib me.
Fine. It's what? If you're going to talk to somebody for a long period of time and you demand that they can't doodle or play a little game or something, you're a fascist, So I mean, if it's a 5-minute conversation, if it's something important, fair enough. Yeah. But if you're on the phone with somebody and they're doodling or whatever,
it's fine, right? It's
fine. It's fine.
I agree.
I was on this boring call.
It was super boring. I will admit that.
Look,
but it's
as
great.
Somebody who can be incredibly long-winded. You have to own it. You have to understand that it's a thing, and you have to accept that some people are just not made for it.
I don't think you're long-winded. I just think you're articulate. I think you like to what you want to say. You want to say it so that everyone gets exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. How well that works out for me in our last email.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'll get to that. I also played. So this is Devolver Digital published Loop Hero, and I came to this conclusion this week that I don't think they've ever had a poorly reviewed game. I went back and looked at their entire catalog over the years. Devolver's never had a game that had anything worse than a very positive review, and a bunch of them are all at overwhelming on Steam and are just considered, amazing games. And Loop Hero is one of those. I think that's kind of remarkable for a publisher. They really know how to tie their wagon to like cool projects, and even if they're small and semi unheard of, they're really good quality things. So that got me in the mood to play a brand new game that hit Game Pass over the week called Olija. Olija. I don't know.
Olga?
How would you say it? Oligaa. How would you say that? Olja. I'm not sure.
I mean,
but
it depends on like what we're saying here. But if it's Eastern European, like I'm guessing, the J's are Jizz.
Jizz?
Like my brother is Jacob.
Oh, Jacob.
My Hungarian grandmother would call him Jakob.
I don't think we're going to be able to get away with calling this episode
Jakob?
J's or Jizz.
J's or Jizz.
Right. In Eastern European, it's not Jizz, it's Yiz.
Yiz?
Please don't Yiz on me.
Sorry, Eastern European people, but that's funny. That's freaking funny.
Well, I mean, I'm Eastern European. I can talk shit about them.
Yeah,
right?
why not?
Or have that ancestry. It's fine. And it's not even talking shit. That's literally how they pronounce J's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just
they
language.
Say, don't Yiz on me.
Oh, I get it.
We're not talking anything vulgar, anybody that's upset. We're talking about the well-known Star Wars jazz music known as Yiz.
Yeah, Yiz.
In Eastern European Tatooine.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I guess your kid's listening, John. Sorry about that.
All right. They know Star Wars. They'll be fine. Anyway, Olja, or however you say it, is kind of a... I don't know how to describe this game, except it's a side-scrolling, pixelated... kind of, I don't know if this is going to make any sense. I like to think of this kind of game as punk pixels, and this is going to sound weird, but there's a certain attitude to pixel use in some games. And examples of this would be like, what was the one where you got a little sword and you're fighting each other?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Needhog?
Yeah, Needhog.
Yeah,
it's very like rebellious style, like a real, look at this. They're just pixels and they're messy and like there's something aggressive about it. It's hard for me to explain. I don't know if this is even a thing, but to me, I see it and I go, oh, that's like, that's like pixel punk is what I would call that. Anyway, this is a bit like that. This is a very cool, that Katana Zero game is a lot like this. There's another one, and I think that's also Devolver Digital. But anyway.
You know what? I played a game like that. We didn't talk about it in court, but I played a bit of that Narita Boy.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that, too. It's just like nuts with pixels, right?
Yeah. Do you think I'm not that I'm trying to coin anything.
Pixel punk. I like the pixel punk.
Is cool. I kind of think of it, as like dirty pixels. Like it's not, a lot of people do this really beautiful pixel art, and this is like functional pixel art.
Yeah.
And I think that's boring sounding, so calling it pixel punk is cool.
Yeah.
Also, the pixels are all over the place.
Oh, they're all over the place. It's like a really gnarly look. The language that the characters speak when they're talking is really weird and guttural and very cool. The atmosphere they set up is really neat. But again, the pixels are very general. This isn't real tight little detailed pixels, like big fat ones. I'm not talking like Atari 2600 level, but like just big fluid chunky chunk moving around.
Right, like the backgrounds are more, if you look at the backgrounds in the videos for this, that's more what you expect a modern pixel game to look like, but the foregrounds are just the more blocky, who cares if an arm looks like just a broken staircase, just go with it. It's fine.
Yeah. And there's a fluidity to it and a speed to it that you couldn't have done back in the day when this was your limitation, right? So it's clearly like it's an artistic use of the aesthetic, and I think it's a really strong one. Really like it so far. It's got some Metroidvania qualities to it, although it's a little bit less. It's not about just like hardcore difficulty or any of that. It's more like we need to get to the next map space, and then let's kill these dudes on our way, and then I don't know. It's hard to explain why I like it. Kind of getting also the way the screens move. It's a little like Out of This World and Flashback. Remember those?
Yeah.
Bit like that, because it doesn't keep scrolling. You're going from one side to the other, and then you're in a new place, and you can go back the other way if you want. Everything's kind of told screen to screen, which I'm a big fan of that. If there's something about it I like. But anyway, it's very adventurous, a lot of stabbing and killing and fighting and, bloody looking pixel limbs flying every direction and kind of a cool story going on. I hear it's short, but it's not too expensive on platforms and stuff. And like I said, it's on Game Pass for free. I really like it so far. It's cool. It's neat. I'm not far enough to really give it a full review, but it just is one of those games those guys make. They put out these weird, I don't know, these Devolver Digital vibe games, and it's difficult to describe why I like it, but I think it's really neat and worth checking out. Really cool sound effects too, by the way. That's the other thing I like is the sound work, and they create a lot of just dramatic moments with camera movement and like weird cuts and just very odd scenery. It's just really, really cool. I like it a lot. So anyway, go check it out. It's OLIJA, however the hell that's pronounced. I have no freaking idea. And available on Game Pass, Steam, consoles, wherever you want to get your games. And then finally, it wasn't a huge week for gaming, as you can see. Played a lot of very casual fare. Just didn't have time. There was a lot going on. But I did have some nightly rounds of Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon whenever I could on my Switch. I still think that game is, I think it's the best puzzle game of last year. Easy. It's just great for, just for a quick, and it came out late in the year too, but.
I meant on the 13th of December.
Yeah. But it's just such a great little, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to play it game. And here I am playing it. Oh, that was fun. Good night. Like that kind of thing. And I always like having something like that at the ready. And that game's definitely scratching that particular itch.
Definitely on my radar to give it a try.
Yeah, it's really good. Let's talk to John about his gaming. I'll bet there's some Final Fantasy gaming going on, probably. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the usual. I'm still playing 14, but having now beaten the story, it has freed up time to play other things, which I did. The first is I will mention as a bit of a plug, but I did play it. Final Fantasy V. I'm back to streaming that. It's been weeks and weeks, maybe months since I played it. And really digging the pixel remaster of that as I gear up for the release of the Final Fantasy VI pixel remaster in February. So I'm really enjoying getting back into that. But I did play some new stuff this week. And the first thing I played was a game called Dungeon Encounters.
Oh, tell me more.
And this game is kind of cool, kind of weird, and I don't know where I ultimately land on it as a result. It is kind of like a turn-based RPG dungeon crawler, like brought down to its most bare bones level in a lot of ways. Everything about it is just like function.
Oh, this is the Square thing. Square Enix thing? Okay. I heard about this.
The map is just a grid.
Yeah.
And you're just exploring it. And you don't see monsters on it. You just go to squares and there's monsters. And then you go to a fight screen and you fight the monsters. And they're not animated particularly well. And it's mostly, text and what basically is essentially almost like a pen and paper type design aesthetic to it. I really kind of dig the look, and I got weirdly hooked by the gameplay loop of exploring these dungeons, even though they're just these like grid maps. But the tutorial for it is not very good. You're actually showing it up on screen. The tutorial is basically like when you go to do something, a box comes up with like almost comic book panels just going, this does this, this does this. And then you click next and it goes, this does this. And it's sort of like figure it out yourself, I guess. And I didn't have a lot of patience to try to figure it out myself. So I had my entire play session. I was just full of questions. I didn't ever buy anything from a shop, and my party wasn't really even getting hurt. I was doing just fine. And I didn't really understand, that there doesn't seem to be classes in this game, but there's different spells you can get and different weapons you can get. And it has all the systems of like a role-playing game, very deep, but it doesn't explain many of them. And it presents them in just the most bare bones kind of way imaginable. I was having fun, but there was also this part of me that's like, it wasn't what I expected, because I was kind of hoping that, sort of like when we talked about Wildermyth, the bare bones aesthetic, the simplistic look that, kind of drove a lot of us away. allowed them to do some really cool things. And I thought maybe this would be in that same boat where, maybe this really simple basic look means they're going to be able to do some really crazy things with the story or with traps or with, what you're doing in this space. And at least with what I've played so far, this could radically change. I haven't seen any of that. It's just been like the mechanics of a JRPG with everything else stripped out. In a lot of ways.
Because they literally are like, it almost feels like prototype. Like, we're making a new JRPG. Here's the prototype that is just this basic function, but we got to work out mechanics and story on a real basic level first before we then go in and make it a big graphical thing. And it's almost like, no, that's all it is. It's just here it is. It's just this grid. It's boiled down to its basic mechanics. I've heard people really like this thing, is what I've heard.
I've heard the same thing, and that's why there is a part of me that, I'm kind of speculating that maybe there's more here that I just haven't gotten far enough in to fully appreciate, because I went down several floors, explored maps 100%, but I didn't put a ton of time into. It's definitely something that I'm going to return to and check out again, but it's just definitely a little, at least what I've played so far, it's a little bit of a letdown because it's a little simplistic. But that could change. And I have also seen really good things about it. So the combat system is pretty cool. There's this whole mechanic of you have a physical defense and a magical defense. Those numbers can vary. So you kind of have to strategize, what are you going to attack? Because you have to break their defense before you can actually damage themselves. And that's kind of where the strategy starts to come in. You got your party of characters, and they get a little wild with that because there's really not a lot to like model or do with them because they're mostly just portraits besides your 3D character walking around in the environment for the map. But it's intriguing. I think it's worth people checking out if this seems like the kind of thing you'd be into, but it's a little hard for me to fully recommend because I don't know how deep it goes yet.
Yeah, there's something about the rawness of it I like, but Bo, what do you think of this thing? It's pretty weird.
It just seems a little pricey for what it is. The $40. It's $40.
Yeah.
$40 Canadian. I mean,
that's kind of where I was at.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing very stripped down is fine. It's like portraits and no details on the map, but I get that it's sort of a puzzle JRPG. It could still be really fun. Like Loop Hero looks like shite, and it's actually amazing.
Yeah, good point.
And so this it has a lot of stuff I like. It's a roguelike, it's dungeon crawling, it's fighting. It seems to have some strategic layer, at least in the trailer. I remember hearing about this when it was first releasing and being interested, but the $40 price tag, it just doesn't feel like the right price point for this game.
Yeah, it seems a little high to me as well, but I like the idea of it. And maybe, hey, you don't even know. Maybe this is Square Enix. Maybe you're mining NFTs here and you just haven't been told. You just don't know, John. That's maybe what this is.
So I guess I will try and clarify things I'm seeing in the chat. Wildermyth is pretty stripped down, and isn't it $35 to $40, right? Yes, but what I'm trying to say is that Wildermyth had this hidden depth that I haven't seen out of dungeon encounters yet.
Yeah.
So Wildermyth, I went, oh, it's kind of ugly. It kind of looks stripped down. But then they add all these random events and these elements of like, oh, you found this thing that now is going to permanently change your character in some crazy way in a random happening that occurred during the game. And it's like, oh, that's really neat. And that's kind of what I expected here. Is I assumed that the bare bones aesthetic would let them go really crazy with that stuff. But so far, every single floor that I've done so far has just been explore the floor. You'll find a healing fountain, a resurrection fountain, stairs to go down a level, stairs to go up a level, and you'll find monsters to fight. And that's been every single floor so far. So there hasn't been a ton of really interesting things as I'm exploring this. And I saw the numbers and was like, oh, maybe there's going to be more to it. And you do get some abilities, like you get the ability to see monsters, you get the ability to run from battles. Like there is some stuff in there, but I think I expected more of what Wildermyth brought with its minimalist aesthetic than what I got with this. So again, I'm talking about the first couple floors of the game. So that is by no means me knowing a ton about it, but that's been my experience.
I have a theory. I have a theory that might be super dumb, but I'll say it.
Okay.
This might be what I get out of Tavern Master, but for RPGs, and I'll explain. Tavern Master is, hey, you want to play a tycoon builder game, but really boil it down to just the essence of why that loop is fun. This feels like them saying, hey, you like JRPGs, but what if you skipped all the dialogue, the talking, the waiting, the running, the backtracking, and you just did these 6 mechanics that are basically at the core of all Japanese RPGs, or even RPGs in general. And there is a relaxing sort of loop to that, and I have a feeling that's what this is scratching for a lot of people. I could be wrong, but that feels like what they're getting out of it.
I mean, the fights have never been the part of JRPGs I like, so that might also explain why I'm, kind of pushing against it to a degree. But it does seem like that. It does seem like, boot it up, play a JRPG, go. We don't have to worry about all the characters and dialogue and talking and back and forth. Just play.
Yeah. It looks neat. I might have to check it out. I think this is on tablets, which seemed like a really good place for something like this. So I might play it there.
It does seem like a mobile-y tablet-y game.
Mm-hmm. One that would just, I don't know, lend itself well to like quickly look at a thing, move a dude, do a fight.
If I could close my eyes and wish for a mix-up or mash-up, I would take the gameplay of Wilderness Myth and mash it up with the art in this game, because I like the portrait art in here.
Yeah,
like,
portrait art is actually really good.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of wish Wilderness Myth looked like this rather than how it does.
Yeah,
this portrait.
Oh yeah, good point. Like there's a you say that, I do kind of wish. Wilderness' biggest weakness is the cartoony kind of style of it. Is not going to work for everybody. Some people are just gonna be turned off by it.
Yeah, I don't like it. Just it's fine if people like it, it's fine. But I just feel aesthetically it looks, it turns me off. Like I go to look at the game to play it, and then I see the cardboard pieces going like this. I think I just don't like papercraft stuff, because I know Humble Games. I bought a papercraft. They remember they had that papercraft RPG thing too that they released. I can't remember, like Pop-Up Dungeons or something like that. We talked about it on the show. I had the same problem with that. It just looks too stupid for me. Yeah. I look at it and I go, this isn't just, I can't do it. Yeah.
Not a papercraft guy.
I don't like the look of papers when they walk going dingy, 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 dingy. I'd almost rather just slide into place like a chessboard.
Sure.
I don't like when it's cute and papercrafty.
Did you like any of the like Sackboy stuff, or any of those things that were trying to be, hey, a bunch of miniatures and
Sackboy?
Yeah, like what's it called?
Little Big Planet,
or Tearaway, or any of that stuff. Tearaway,
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah,
I never played that stuff.
Okay.
Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah,
I don't mind board game aesthetic. Like I like pieces and moving the pieces and stuff. But I just think the papercraft stuff, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Do you like Paper Mario? Because that's where we could have words if you don't like Paper Mario.
I played Paper Mario RPG. I played, what was the original? Was on Super Nintendo or something like that?
Super NES, I think it was SNES. Or no, maybe in N64 is where it first.
I played the first one. Yeah. I mean, it was fine.
I love
not my favorite aesthetic.
I love Paper Mario. He's the man.
Woo-hoo. But Nintendo does it with extra sauce, so it's probably, if it's Nintendo doing it, it's probably better.
That's true. Their sauce is pretty good. It's just has horrible online connectivity and weird business practices, but good sauce. Good sauce.
The animation sauce is good as well.
Oh yeah, the sauce, the animated sauce, as good as anybody has ever done it. All right, very nice, John. Oh, you played. I can't wait to hear about this. You played Power Wash Simulator, a game I've spoken highly of, and I'm really curious what you think of that game.
I'm a bit mixed on it.
All right.
I think it's fine. What's the best way to say this? When it's working great, it works great for me.
Okay.
The problem I have is that, and it makes sense. It's not a criticism on what they decided to do. It's just telling my experience in it. The default power washer that you have feels like it only really works on the first 2 settings. like narrow little beam of water or slightly bigger fan of water. It feels like once you get into attachment 3 or 4 to fan out more water, it feels like you have to go over it so many damn times or switch to another nozzle anyway and then go over that spot again, that I don't find it as relaxing as I thought I was going to.
It's satisfying.
Because I don't find going over a spot and then having to go over that spot a bunch of times very relaxing.
Yeah.
I actually find it kind of annoying.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
I didn't love that, but that I could get over. Like, I'm also fine with it taking a little longer and just using the smaller nozzle and calling it a day. The other two things that bugged me is, so right now you're showing video of washing the van, which is the first mission that you do, is washing this van. And I thought this was great. Like, I was still on board. I was like, yeah, all right, cool, great. Let's wash this van. And the second mission they give you is to do like an entire backyard. And it was too much. It was like going from a car to a backyard. And I was like, I don't know if I'm sold on this yet. And now you've given me maybe too much to do.
Yeah, there's a lot. That backyard jump is a big jump. No question.
You know, if you want kids to do yard work or housework for you, you don't just throw 100 things at them. Like, you don't give them a week's worth of work on a single page. You tell them what you need done at a small scale. It just felt like too much.
Are you using the
soap? You haven't met my dad, have you?
And so I was
just complaining and get back to work.
Yeah, that'd be your dad. Yeah.
I was just at this place where I was like, ugh, this is gonna take too long. Like, I hadn't found my happiness with the loop before they gave me too much to do on the loop.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you using soaps at all? Because soaps make a billion times of a difference.
I tried it on, I think, my 4th mission when I had to do the playground.
Yeah.
And I ran out of soap before I finished the first freaking thing I bought soap for. I was like, well, it's a playground. It's bound to have plastic. And sure enough, there was a big old plastic, like, Stegosaurus. And I washed, like, its head and arm, and it's like, you're out of soap. I was like, well, I didn't know how fast I was going to go through this, and now I don't have any more.
Soap goes a long way, John.
Now I'm just going to use water, I guess. And so the last thing that really bugged me, and it is pretty generous with, you know, so like it kind of divides items into things. So like for the car, for example, if you're spraying the windshield, it's like, okay, you're cleaning the windshield, and you don't have to get it 100% perfect for the game to then wipe all the dirt off it and go, okay, you cleaned it. You have to clean it about like 95%, and then it cleans it the rest of the way and goes, okay, you did it, which is generally pretty smart. Except some of the items that they've put in here are so incredibly small that even 95% is a ton of what that item constitutes, and it's hidden. And I spent probably 20 minutes trying to figure out what little piece of dirt I missed on a motorcycle was before the stupid thing was clean. And it turned from relaxing, cathartic pressure washing into just like spraying this motorcycle with a hose nonstop, just going, where are you?
Well, did you hit the tab button, which shows you areas?
Not a damn thing.
Weird.
I couldn't tell. Well, for one, it highlights in orange, and it was an orange motorcycle that had now been cleaned and was all 100% orange.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it. I still don't know. What ended up happening was I looked to see, because they give you a little checklist at the end saying, this is what is still dirty that you have to clean. So I knew it was one particular part of the bike, and I found out what that was. And I just started spraying it from every angle. And on about my 5th time around the bike, spraying just this one part, all of a sudden it just went, okay, you're done. I still don't know what I got, but I did it eventually. And I had a similar issue with cleaning the house where it was like, oh, you got to clean the upper terrace. And I'm like, I've sprayed it as much as I possibly can. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a bit more frustrating than relaxing for me.
Yeah, and maybe it's only relaxing to people that are good at cleaning.
That's true. And that would actually track, because I'm definitely not. So it's fine. It's good. And it does have, like, even though I have criticisms for it and I think it has some problems, the upgrade path is like intriguing because the pressure washer isn't particularly good. I'm sitting there at the shop going, I could buy a better pressure washer.
Yep.
If I just wash this many more houses, I can buy something that's actually good, and then I can use that big fan one, and it'll actually clean something instead of just passing over it and it somehow looks dirtier. So
you're living the real life of a power pressure washer. I'm telling you, man. Like this, having used one of these myself for real, I think part of what I like about it is that it feels like real pressure washing. And the difference is, in real life, you can be a little skimpy and go, well, I didn't get that part of the tire. Who cares? Nobody can see it. But the game wants you to get it. I could totally see why that would be frustrating.
Well, and I think we're also, I'm going to it for what's probably the wrong reason. It's not called Power Wash Fantasy. It's called Power Wash Simulator. Like, hey, we want to simulate what it's like. So if it's reminiscent of what actual power washing is, that's one thing. I'm sitting here just wanting a game that's going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. So that's what made me bounce off of it. I was like, I don't feel satisfied after power washing. I feel like I worked. I feel like the game owes me some money.
The game owes you like $30 for this job you did. Yeah, so
worked.
It's interesting because it's still in early access. Obviously, that could mean a lot of things. But one thing I've noticed is the reviews have all been like, it's overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. That tells me that there's nobody really going, oh, if they fix this, it'll be perfect. Or like they feel like they maybe are hitting all the right marks already. So they may not actually end up addressing the stuff that bugs you.
And I think it's fine. I don't think it's a bad game. I think if this game intrigues you, I think it's still going to give you what you want, most likely. I think I had built it up in my head what it was going to be, and what I got was maybe not necessarily that. I thought it was going to be kind of in the same way that I find House Flipper very satisfying.
Yeah.
And I just didn't walk away from power washing satisfied, which I guess just means maybe it's just not the career for me. Well, that's fine.
Here's the difference too. I played a little bit of House Flipper. I forgot to mention it just for funsies this week. And I really like that game. They put out some new content. So I was like, oh, let's check that out. You can fudge a lot of things in that game. And when you do, it doesn't punish you too greatly. In fact, you could really fudge it and just, don't want to do this house anymore. I'm just going to sell it. And then you still make money. And then you can go on to the next house. You may not have made, an extra 20 grand on the 300 grand you sold the house for, but you still feel pretty good about it, even though you let that window go. This game, Power Wash Simulator, doesn't have that flexibility. It doesn't want to let you get away with just doing a good enough job. And in fact, this very job, if it was in House Flipper, would be like a very fast, like ship. Okay, well done. Now move on to the next thing.
Yep.
So I think that
sometimes that's how I do my windows in House Flipper. Have you ever done the lazy windows in House Flipper where you just kind of go,
yeah, just
it's good enough, and then it cleans itself, and you're like, magic.
Yeah, I love that. So I think they could learn something from that if they want to make it more approachable or more, I don't know, cathartic and less fiddly. If they're aiming for 100% sim, maybe not. Maybe they're going to make it fiddly. But I find it pretty cathartic. I like House Flipper more, though. So maybe that supports what you're saying. I don't know. It's an interesting take. I think it'll be an interesting game to watch and see how it evolves, because I think they want to do a lot more than just, hey, wash shit. I think they want to make it more... a more meaningful progression, and I'm interested to see where they take that, because if at the end of the day it is just literally here's a bigger thing to wash and that's really all you're doing, that's not going to have as much staying power as House Flipper, which is always adding new content and new holidays and new kinds of houses and items and all that kind of stuff. So
look, your video did it. Look, this guy's stuck. He's looking at it and he's going, this is clean van. And I don't know what to do now. He's stuck at 99%.
Yeah, he's missed a spot.
He's missed something.
Yeah, what spot did he miss?
Yeah,
probably the roof.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time up there, and that's what he's trying. So that's it. You're not wrong. And if he hit the tab button, you can see stuff that's not done yet. He's not doing that for some reason, and you can turn that off actually.
Or he can't see what's highlighting, because that highlighting thing is it works really, really well when there's a lot of obvious things you're missing. But if it's like a piece of dirt vaguely back behind the tire, you can highlight it till the cows come home. You're never going to see it.
Yeah, I can see him getting frustrated too, because look at him. He's like,
he's just like, I'm spraying this whole damn car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I wound up with it, and it's fine.
Yeah, maybe he should look in the wheel
wells. Like, that's it. I'm gonna crawl on the ground around this van until this thing is clean.
That's how real cleaning is. You clean, like, if you clean like 99% of a table, but leave, like, you know, some boogers off to the side, it's not clean. You got to clean it.
I mean, I agree.
That's the game.
I agree. That's why I said I think I went in wanting something different. I wanted something that was going to make me feel cleaner than I am.
I like that. Maybe that's what they'll do ultimately. I don't know. I think this guy's got a wheel well that's got some schmoo in it, and he's just not getting down there, like Bo said. He's
probably a wheel well. That seems to be the hardest part.
Yeah. In real life and otherwise. It is nice that once you've highlighted or cleaned a thing, it'll highlight, but then you got to remember that that's highlighted, right? So like the driver's door will go bling and light up blue when you've cleaned it, but then a half an hour later, you're not going to remember that.
But it looks like there's a sub meter. Like when you highlight something, it tells you what you're highlighting, and there's a sub.
Yeah, so it's a headlight. Actually, headlight. Right there. Yeah, he's missing a headlight.
Yeah, and he got it finally.
Tick on a headlight, and he got it. Yeah. So I mean that rather than spray around, just like look at things and see if anything has a meter left. But he's probably new to the game. It's the first level. So
yeah. I will say
this looks like an earlier version.
Pay attention.
Because,
so that don't move on to the next thing until that meter's all the way down.
Bo's like, get meticulous with it.
Yeah.
Well, you should play it, Bo. Yeah. You get Power Wash Simulator.
I'm not into chorecore at all.
The chorecore thing has not landed on Bo very well, but I just always excited to hear when John's picking up one and playing with it.
He says that, but then he's going to tell us what he did in Valheim.
It's pretty chory. Yeah, that's some chorecore. It's just got some fantasy around the chore. But it's still
just because you got attacked by a creature while you were doing your chores doesn't mean it's any less of a chorecore game.
Tell me about Raft before we move to Valheim and Bo. What is? I know what Raft is, but you say you played a lot of it. I played a lot
of it. Yeah, this is probably the game of all the games I played this week. This is the one I kept coming back to. I was kind of intrigued by this game called Raft, which is about building a raft. It's kind of a survival game, and the idea is that you start on a raft with a little hook with a rope tied around it, and you have to build stuff to make your raft and your life on the raft better. And
so survival game on a raft, basically.
Yeah, survival game on a raft.
All right.
What are you looking at?
It says this is Raft.
Pulling up does not look like the game I played.
Oh no, I'm sorry. This is called Alone in the Ocean, Stranded Deep. Let me find the real one.
I was like, this isn't the game I played at all.
Nope. All right, I'll find it.
We need to start sending Scott videos for the stuff we
I found it. Here it is. I clicked the wrong damn thing. Here it is. All right, so there it is. Raft. You're on a raft. You got some kind of hook.
Yeah, and so you're just like grabbing, you're like surrounded by garbage. Like the ocean is just riddled with stuff.
No, fishing.
And you just start bringing stuff in and building up your raft.
Super pass on this one.
It was so much fun. I had a great time with this game once I found a gameplay mode that I liked.
Oh.
So I got in and I was like, okay, we'll try it on normal. Let's see what the default experience for this game is before we go too crazy. And I thought I was going to end up really liking it and that it was going to be fun. And then the shark really started to just bug the shit out of me. So there's a shark that's pretty much following your raft constantly. I named him Dennis. Other people have called him other things. But I named him Dennis, and he is annoying as shit because for no good damn reason, like I'm fine with the idea of if you got in the water, the shark tries to eat you. Like that's a mechanic I understand and I'm okay with. But for no good damn reason, the shark will occasionally just come up and eat a chunk off your boat unless you poke him with a stick.
Okay.
And even if you poke him with a stick, he's going to do some damage before you send him away. And I got so sick of this mechanic especially because they've added islands to the game. So you're not on the raft the whole time. Like every now and then you'll discover an island and you go and you explore it. And what I discovered is that the shark will eat the shit out of your boat while you're exploring the island. So I came back and all my stuff was gone because friggin' Dennis just decided to start eating my boat while I was checking out this island. And the thing that appeals to me about this game is I really kind of like the exploration elements of it. It's why I like games like Wind Waker and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I like sailing the seas and finding an island and going and checking it out and then getting back on my boat and sailing to something else.
You'd like Sea of Thieves, I think. You should play Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, like I like that stuff. I like that stuff a lot, and I have a really good time with it. I like doing it alone is the problem, but
yeah, I get you.
It's I just got sick of the shark, and I found that there is a peaceful mode where the shark will not eat you. And once I discovered that, and he won't eat your boat, which is really I don't mind the shark trying to eat me. It's the eating the boat that bugs me.
Yeah.
There are upgrades before anybody tells me. You can armor the corners of your boat so that the shark can't eat it. It's just not a mechanic I enjoy, though. You know, it's like everybody's got that, you know, in Skyrim, maybe you think encumbrance is just too much and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, it was the shark eating the boat. Once I could work on my boat and not worry about Dennis eating it, this game just became super fun for me. Not as challenging on peaceful mode. Obviously, you don't have to worry about getting eaten by a shark. There are other creatures that'll attack you. There's wild pigs. There's birds that'll drop giant rocks on you for some reason.
Okay. Those birds are
like
dicks.
Peaceful mode kind of turns all that stuff off.
Yay. That's what I would say. I don't want no birds shitting on me. I get it.
It's a lot better. But as far as like a game where you just kind of design your own boat and build your own upgrades, like I'm really enjoying the loop of it and the experience of it. It's very calm and very relaxing. And so while Power Wash Simulator didn't really let me find my Zen place, this game really did for me because I just found customizing the raft and making it bigger and going, oh, well, I'm going to use better materials, and now I'm going to construct the sail, and now I can actually control where the raft goes rather than just drifting around. And now I'm going to construct a second floor, and you know, just kind of growing this boat into something cool was just a really fun experience for me.
I'm seriously interested in playing it. It looks like something I would actually really enjoy in that mode, and it reminds me of when I changed Shipbreaker to be basically open. What they call it? Open shift mode, I think. It's basically the idea is your shift doesn't have a start or a stop. It was kind of timed in the main mode, and a lot of players are like, give us a way to play without the timer because it's really stressful, and also I don't want to, you know, die or whatever. So they let you dial that stuff around, and one of them is to turn off that mode, so you just ship break at your leisure, but you can still have the full experience of the campaign that way.
Yeah,
that's what that sounds like here. I'm actually kind of wanting to. I have this, I think. Why haven't I played this?
It's cool. I highly recommend it. I think you'll dig it. The only thing that kind of bums me out is I do wish it was a little more granular in what you could turn on and what you could turn off.
Mm-hmm.
Because peaceful mode, again, I don't think that that's what I ultimately want. I just want the shark to not eat my boat, because it does make peaceful mode makes a lot of upgrades and items trivial. So there's reasons to not go down certain paths at all. And that can be a bit of a bummer when all of a sudden, like, oh, well, I never have to worry about this, so there's no reason for me to make this particular item or worry about this. Like, you can create flippers and a way to breathe underwater and stuff like that. And I haven't needed to worry too much about it because I'm not getting attacked by anything. So swim speed, who cares? Nothing's going to try and eat me in the water. I don't have to make shark bait to get Dennis to go do something else. Because he's just not going to attack me. He's just my friend now who just accompanies me on my raft journey.
It's by the way, it's still in early access. I didn't realize that. They started in 2018. It's still going.
Yeah, they're still doing updates to it and fleshing it out. It sounds like maybe, you know, islands got a lot more variety to them. I guess in the past, maybe it was a little bit more, this is what islands look like. I do wish Sea of Thieves style there was a little more intrigue to the islands. Like I hit a point where I was pretty good on resources, and so I just stopped caring about exploring islands, which was a little bit of a bummer. But I mean, overall, the game is very relaxing and very fun. It does have fishing in it, so Bo would definitely love it.
Yeah, you'd love.
It's like got 2 levels of fishing because it has literal fishing, and then it has fishing for items by throwing this hook out to bring items into your boat.
I'm not into this at all. I'm watching video of it. I get that it's a survival game, so it's just in its own unique genre. But I'm definitely not into a water-based survival game like this.
I don't know. I'm kind of
just because fishing sucks.
Feeling drawn to it. I'm gonna check it out. I don't love fishing either, but I don't know. In the right context, I can be convinced. Excellent, Bo. Tell us about your still addiction to Valheim. What's going on?
I'm playing every day, putting in a lot of time. John's not wrong. There are chores in that game, but chores. It's not the entirety of it. It's pretty much a lot like Rat. I mean, it's a survival game, right? So you have an objective to kill the bosses. It involves, I've talked about this game a lot. It involves building the base. I enjoy building the bases. It feels like an MMO, but without any quests or NPCs. You're kind of making your own fun. I kind of get a kick out of that still. I finally found a sunken crypt in the swamp biome. That's the 3rd biome. It's a pretty hard place. Figured out how to get my poison resist. I guess the worst thing was I went boating to discover biomes not yet in the game because it was early access. I think I spent 8 hours just boating around, and I got on my way back home. I got a Deathsquito killed me, so it's a really hard bug in the plains biome.
Are they called that?
And I lost all my gear like hours and hours away from my home base, so I had to build another boat, sail out for like 6 hours to go get my stuff, and hopefully not get killed again, and then sail back. So there's portals. Make sure to bring materials for a portal and explore safely so you can portal back.
Nice.
Without having to corpse run for hours. But I maybe spent about 6 to 8 hours corpse running to get my sweet gear back.
Oh my gosh. That's intense.
Yeah. And like we had this other adventure too where I went mining for copper. Now copper you can't take in a teleporter. You got to wheel it back. So it's very heavy. It's not convenient to cart it on your person. So you have to get a cart and then pull it on the cart. Yeah. The thing is, the heavier the cart is, the harder it is to pull over hills. So I mined too much copper, and I was streaming it. So Hans Sanitizer, who's in the chat room now, he joined my game and helped me carve out a literal path.
That's nice.
Like it basically took me like 6 hours to cart all this ore home because trying to get this heavy ass thing through.
I checked out your stream at the end of it. So I just got the relief and oh my god, what did we just do reaction without seeing anything that led up to it. But it sounded like quite an ordeal.
So what's kind of fun is doing things the hard way and then figuring out that there's more efficient ways. So there is an upgrade to the boat eventually. I think gives a lot of room in the boat. The boat is safer to transport things on in terms of not being victim to hills and stuff like that. But it's fun. I'm finding it the monsters, like I've pretty much got the forest biome on lock. I can kill the trolls and all the denizens of the black forest fine, but swamp is pretty rough still.
Yeah.
But I'm getting my intestines and my my muddy iron ore that I find in there. I just got in. It was a big accomplishment to finally. So I set up a base next to a swamp, but it had no sunken crypts, and sunken crypts are important for progression because it has the iron in it.
Yeah.
So it was a huge waste of time setting up a base when I should have explored and found a sunken crypt first. So it's like kind of unexciting to talk about because I just spend a lot of time figuring out the game systems, refusing to look things up online. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Crofton and I will be playing tomorrow. It is up to 10 players on a server. So if you guys wanted to play Valheim with some people, I think we're gonna.
I watched you stream some, and it made my list of games that I bought. So Valheim Valheim is on there. I just haven't played it yet.
We need to do multiplayer. The thing about that game too is like doing things together makes the jobs a lot easier. Like playing solo.
But there's no persistence, right? Like if you play multiplayer, you got to have a server, and then whatever you do on that server run is there. But if you all log off, it goes away.
your character's not locked to a server or a world, so you can start 5 worlds with the same character. It has Skyrim-like progression, but there's penalty on death. You do lose skills on death. It's like 5% of your shit.
Yeah.
But there's death protection if you die over and over again. But there's the skill increases are incremental, so don't worry. You don't worry about it. But you're not locked to a world, so it's like an MMO character where you can log into any server. So I have 3. And furthermore, you can mule items between servers as well. It's just one of the quirks of the game. So if you get a bunch of ore on World 1, you can bring it to World 2. No biggie.
Oh, weird. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was.
I don't
like
know if
an
that's going to
instance.
change, but that's how it works right now. But the thing is, you can start You can just set your world, whatever world that you belong that you made on your computer, to multiplayer, and then you can just bring friends in, or you can make a community server that's password protected. The third option is you can run your own dedicated server,
right?
Which I've looked into because I thought, getting a second PC up and running it full time. You could basically make your own MMO world, right? That anyone could log into at any time, and that's intriguing. I like that idea that there is now a persistent world. So the world's not persistent unless you're logged in on your computer and you've invited other players into it or whatever.
You're gonna make it persistent,
but you can set up your own persistent server. Which I'm kind of like, oh, that'd be kind of fun.
I did that
it does take a bit of work.
Late 90s, early 2000s. I ran my own Unreal Tournament servers, and I kind of miss it. It was fun.
Yeah, like the idea of ownership, and this is my realm. I'm the Shang Tsung of this island, like kind of thing. Like I kind of want. There's a part of me that part of the appeal of the game is that I'm like, it's like running my own MMO, and people can log in and build shit, and it'll be password protected, so asshats won't be coming in there destroying all of our stuff. But there's also items that lock your business in there too, so there's some extra layers of protection there. I don't know.
It seems cool.
I like this. I'm always saying I don't like open world games, but this feels like a real open world game in the sense that it's just kind of this big sandbox, and I like it. But you're not wrong in that it has plenty of chores. I have pigs now.
Oh,
I've
good.
named. I have pet boar. I've tamed boars, and actually, I've named 2 of them after you. So I have a Scott and John boar.
Oh,
now the boars are meant for slaughter, but because I named them all after people I know or viewers on my Twitch channel, I'm having a hard time killing them for their leather and meat because I'm like, I don't want to kill John and Scott. They're my pet boars.
Sounds like
they say never name them. That's what they say.
Yeah, never name your boar.
Well, I have to. So I have about 15 boars.
Wow.
There's one for Kyle and Kristen, and my family members, and some listeners.
You should name them meat products. Like this, this one's hot dog, and this one's
name them after serial killers, and just pretend you're Dexter.
Yeah, there you go. Ding. I've heard that new Dexter's good. Has anyone seen that yet?
Yeah, it's good.
No, I've never watched Dexter.
It's like a good season of Dexter.
Okay.
I don't know if it's up to Trinity Killer season levels, but it's right up there. Like it's
that was
solid.
pretty good. I remember it was hard the first time because it was John Lithgow and it threw me, but it's pretty good.
So Kenlin wants to know if I have bees. Yes, I have bees. I have 3 bees. Beehives.
Beehives.
So I get honey. Honey's a food. Yeah. So
not just a bee. Okay.
I have beehives, and so every day they make a new unit of honey. So every 4 days, I'll usually pull out 4.
So my dad used to have favorite dad jokes. One of them was, "What is the most common ailment that bees complain of?" And it was hives. So, it's so stupid. It's really stupid. Like it couldn't have been stupider. And this was the 80s.
I liked it, but I just had a kid, so
you got to start saving these up. It's good stuff
for later.
Great.
Anyways, Valheim, it's good. I also played some Heroes of the Storm, and I wanted to share with you that it's like a time capsule in there now on my second game that we were losing.
Yeah.
And one guy was like, Rhaegar, can't you go soak? And Rhaegar's like, no, I'm a healer. I can't soak. And the other guy's like, but Rhaegar's really good at clearing. Go watch a YouTube video. And it was like, I haven't played in a while, and it's like I never left. It's like the people there are stuck in some kind of time stasis where they're just having the same I'm like, you guys really even have energy to argue about this shit? The game's been out for years. I was like, it's good to be back. It was fun.
Yeah, it's good. Did you win? Did you feel good about your time?
I probably won as much as I lost. I just went in there to play some games for fun. I wasn't really too hung up on winning, and it was a good time. I hadn't been there for a while, and I played a few games.
I miss those weeks where I would just see one of you online in there, and we just hop in and play all night. I miss that.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's part of. I miss it so much. It was part of my daily life. Was playing with people and living and breathing.
Yeah, it was
Heroes.
a big deal.
It was fun. It's still a good game. Still a fun game.
Still fun game. Too bad other things are weird. Hey,
all have kids.
Yeah, there you go. One more email from listeners who asked the question. Oh shit, I lost it. There it is. They asked this question.
That's a good question.
Or no, I said that's a good question after they asked me their question. Anyway, talktothecore@gmail.com is the email address. John, says this person. This is Aaron. Try finishing Halo Infinite's campaign before laying down judgment on it. Chief is the most interesting and dynamic he's ever been. I find it odd that you'd say you're tired of him before even finishing. Comes off as lazy. Love the show, just not your takes on your unfinished gaming ventures.
Wow.
Aaron.
Nice.
I did that in a tone I believe it was intended, but anyway. John, how do you respond?
Paint.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he did. I just wish he would address what I actually said instead of, what he thinks I said. But I think this is a case, and I hope people will listen instead of hearing that I don't like Master Chief and getting so mad that you missed the entire point. I think Halo Infinite is a fantastic game. And I think I was pretty clear that I loved it. It almost was my game I need to play more of on my list for that, except that I had put so many hours into it. I was like, well, I actually have played a lot of this game. I don't know if I can put it on the I need to play more list with how much I've played it. But my criticisms of Master Chief and Cortana and Brutes was not about Halo Infinite. It was about everything that led up to Halo Infinite. So I wasn't saying Halo Infinite is bad because Master Chief is so boring in it. I said I didn't care about Master Chief because the past 5 games have made me not care about Master Chief. So it wasn't a criticism of Halo Infinite. It was a criticism of where I was starting. And that's what I was talking about. It's like if Burger King all of a sudden said, hey, we've decided we need to be Burger King again. So we've completely changed the menu, changed how we do everything. It's a whole new Burger King again.
Yeah.
And I said, traditionally I don't like Burger King very much. And someone went, you have to try it before you can say that. No, I don't. I've tried it plenty. And the result is that I don't like Burger King very much. Does that mean that if I go and try a new improved Burger King that I might enjoy it? Sure. And I would be open to this. But I think what this email should say to properly address that is to say, John, by the end of Halo Infinite, I thought Master Chief was the most interesting and dynamic he's ever been. I would be curious what your take is if you finish the game. To that, instead of being argumentative, I would say, yeah. I mean, look, I play Final Fantasy 14, a game that is notorious for having people go, it gets good. You just have to give it about 100 hours first. I'm not opposed to saying things get better over time, but I am telling you that Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5 did not sell me on Master Chief and Cortana. So I am starting at a place of not really caring that much about it. So that's where my criticisms were.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Especially because ODST and Reach were very good Halo games, which did not contain him.
That's true. There was there were references to him, but he did not. You never played as Master Chief in any of that stuff.
Right.
Those 2 games. Yeah.
I just, and it could turn around. You could see me in a couple months in here going, guys, I take it all back. At the end of Infinite, Master Chief, friggin' badass. He spray paints his armor.
Yep.
He stops with the one-liner jokes. He tells a 2-liner joke. I will even say that the new Cortana that's in that game, she doesn't have a name yet right now because they haven't felt it appropriate to give her one yet, but it's basically like Lil Cortana.
Yeah.
I like her a lot more than original Cortana, who I liked. I just didn't like what they did with her story.
Yeah.
I think she's got a lot of character and personality.
Yeah, I like
so
it too.
I think Infinite's doing really well, and I reserve the right to change my opinion about Master Chief. But going into Infinite, no, he's not interesting.
That's an interesting clarification. I hope that helps Aaron understand where you're coming from. So Aaron, let us know what you think. talktothecore@gmail.com. All right, everybody, as we conclude things here today, I wanted to play one last thing. This is put together by TMS Mashups Jamie, who makes mashups of different shows around the Frog Pants Network. And lately he's way back into core and digging up some really cool stuff. He found the origins of the Dear Martha Steam reviews. And
I don't even remember what this was.
I don't either. I mean, we know the Dear Martha stuff started back when you were doing Dear Martha scenarios around Heroes of the Storm. But when it started as a Steam review, this is a bit of an origin. So we're going to play it, see what it is. I haven't heard this yet, so I have no idea what we're into. But here it is. Let's check it out. Okay, you guys either have to walk me away from this edge or tell me justify me doing it. I got a key from a developer for a game called Lust from Beyond. Here's what it says. Lust from Beyond is a psychological horror with occult and erotic... horror game with occult and erotic themes, exploring a graphically advanced environment full of interactive items. Are they talking about what I think they're talking about? Because it sounds like this game just wants me to watch people doing it.
This game is horror erotica done right. It's not just yet another press F to orgasm porn game. It's a full-blown product that's a huge improvement over original title.
Why F?
There's this whole otherworldly horror thing, and the porn around it feels uncanny and cringe, and yet enticing at the same time. It's a hard trick to pull, especially today when everyone is accustomed to porn.
Oh man, I should have played this while you were doing it. Actually, you know what? Let's do it. We're going to do one.
Let's do it, Dear Martha. I'll read a review for this game as Dear Martha.
All right,
Hold
here
on,
it
let me
comes.
find something.
Tell me when you got one, and then we'll get a Dear Martha.
Okay, I got one. We'll read this review from Barkin.
All right, here we go.
My dearest Martha, today I'd like to tell you about a video game called Lust for... Wait, what was it?
Beyond.
Lust from Beyond.
Yeah.
Wow, great game. I've never played something like this. I'm not a fan of horror games. I find them cheesy and linear, but I really enjoyed my time with this title. I would recommend this to anybody who likes adult content in games. It's not just another FAP game. It's immersive and fun. These devs put in a lot of great work behind this title, and it shows. Pick it up now. Yours truly, Barkin.
Wow. It's not just
another fab game.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty freaking
You need to clip that and keep that as a thing.
This needs to be the way that Dear Marthas go in the future for recorded ones. We need to find really bad Steam reviews.
Okay, we'll do a weekly feature. We'll read a Steam review as a Dear Martha.
Okay, so we're going to divvy up the job. I got the sound file ready to go. Your job is to find a review you want to read. Done. We got a segment.
Got it.
Okay.
We'll start it next week.
All right. Now that you're a father, this is the perfect transition. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Okay. So wait a minute. That was right after the baby was born? That's crazy.
I guess.
No, I think that was the announcements. There was like 9 months leading up to
maybe. Okay. Yeah, maybe she was just pregnant.
We found out.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't
We've been doing these a while, so it seems too short.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm a little surprised that it's as I didn't know we sussed that out on the air. I didn't know that's how that worked. I don't know how I couldn't remember how we resurrected it, but that was it.
That was the first time we had done the Dear Martha Steam review, but we had been doing Letters to Martha since Heroes was a thing.
Oh yeah, but we
not
stopped.
not as a thing, but we were just like, someone's bitching about not soaking bot lane. My dearest Martha, people won't soak in the bot lane while I'm playing Heroes of the Storm.
Right. No,
I'm
remember
never
that.
coming home.
I remember all of that, except there was a giant chunk of time where we just didn't do them because we weren't doing Heroes anymore. So what is Dear Martha anymore, right? So it was it was 2020 then? So that's weird.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
When did we start the show?
Time is weird.
2015, yeah. So we're on year 7?
Gosh.
Yeah. Think of that.
On year 7 of core? Oh, geez.
Think of that. I know.
You know what happened the other day? I went to my dentist's office and I walked in and the lady, looked at me and she said, I don't remember if this is exactly her name, but she goes, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Sue. I'll be cleaning your teeth. And I said, oh, yeah. Hi, Sue. Yeah, you've cleaned my teeth before. And she goes, oh, did I? She said, I looked to see if I had seen you before. Maybe I didn't look back far enough. And I'm sitting here in my head going, saw you like a month ago, like maybe a couple months ago. And she looks and she goes, oh, I did. That was a little over a year ago. And I went,
yeah.
What the hell? It's been a year?
Yeah.
It feels like it's been a month.
Well, you
maybe
should.
2 or 3 months.
Your visit is a world to you, but to someone who works in it, they see teeth every day. And they're like, "Is another?"
Well, and I'm not saying she needed to remember me, but the thing was, to me it was just like, no, I was just here. We just did this, and then she said, "Do you want to get the cancer screening for your mouth?" And I, once again, same trick. I went, "Well, didn't I just do that?" And she said, "Well, yeah, we recommend doing it once every year." I went, "Uh-huh." And she goes, "It's been over a year." Oh,
yeah.
It's just baby time has removed all concept of that. It doesn't exist for me.
It really doesn't.
And
you're right.
It's made me feel like I have a really good memory because I'm like, oh yeah, that happened yesterday. But people are like, no, it's months and months ago.
Yeah, no, time is all jacked up once you have kids. I'm telling you, it's all jacked up the older you get anyway. But for sure. Now, when they say cancer screening, is that where they just finger your mouth and do the whole around?
Yeah, there was a lot of like weird sensual touching around the face that was like unexpected. There's just like a lot of hands and grabbing, and then they shined a really intense blue light in my mouth.
That's why they got to ask your permission, because it's weird otherwise. If they just started doing that, you'd be like, oh, hold on a minute. Was this Dr. Watley on Seinfeld? Am I going to be naked?
That's like a South Park episode. Like, we're going to check you for cancer. Have you had anal sex before?
Right.
Like, what?
It wasn't ready. It was just very tender. It was very nice. I was like, I'm going to ask my wife to cancer screen later tonight. Maybe this is nice.
And not everybody does this. My dentist does and yours does, but it's not super common. Like, it's just like an added thing where they're like, hey, like mine takes my blood pressure when I go in. That's the only dentist I ever had that did that. Yeah. And
really?
Yeah, kids, everybody, whoever comes in, it's a small one that goes on your wrist. It's like a little clamp.
Yeah.
And you got to hold it in a certain way, and I don't think they're very accurate anyway, but they do it. You go in, put it on there, and they'll tell you if you're high or low, and they just do it every time. So yeah, I think every dentist is just doing their own damn thing, singing to their own song.
Well, JC Calhoun says they did the light thing when he had the cancer screening, doesn't remember any of the touching. I didn't either from a year ago. I don't think they did the touching last time. I remembered the light, and I remembered it being very quick, and all of a sudden she's just like, just touching my cheeks and my neck, and I was like, "Well, this is nice, but unexpected."
Mine didn't even ask.
For lumps, right? I
mean,
looking for lumps.
Mine didn't even ask. He just went, all right, and then put his fingers with the gloves in my mouth and went all around my gums and everything, and he didn't even ask.
I wish I could get a cancer screening because I got a lump on my chest.
Yeah.
Although I went and X-ray, get it checked out. Just apparently I have an inflamed, not inflamed, but just like a ligament that's
I have that
loaded or something, like on my first rib, just above my collarbone, like right here. But it freaks me the hell out. I'm like, this side flat, that side bump. I'm on my doctor. I'm like, I think I have cancer.
No, they're just like, they're floaters. They're like I have one over here on my rib. It's on the ribs getting bad for people, and I've had one for like 20 years or something over here.
Yeah. I am in Canada. Listen, it's not the golden land in Canada of healthcare. Like, yes, we don't pay for it, and it's wonderful. But, the doctors don't want to see you. It's pandemic. They're like, if you're not dying, they don't want to see you.
Yeah, it's the same as here.
Get an X-ray, but,
it's the same as here, except we have to pay if we go in, but they still don't want to see us.
Yeah, and they're crazy wait time. Like, wait times are an issue here. It's like,
free, they're an issue here too. My wife got told, like, hey, you need to get in for an immediate screening for this. Schedule it. And she was like, well, if it's urgent, can you schedule it? And they said, no, you have to. And this was in like late October. She called up multiple doctors and they said, we can see you in January.
Yeah.
But my doctor
every single one of them, January. I was like, man, I'm so glad we have to pay so much for our healthcare to avoid wait times.
Yeah.
So that we can have emergencies be dictated to be a January thing.
Yeah.
Healthcare's effed up everywhere.
The pandemic was a terrible time also to have anxiety issues because I had the same problem. It's like, I need to talk to somebody now. And it's like, it'll be 6 months.
Yeah. We'll be all set.
Enjoy your life.
Yeah. Just put your shit on hold. We'll see you in 6 months.
Enjoy. I mean, what can you do? Everyone's freaked out. I mean, it's not their fault, but it's like,
right.
Yeah. Healthcare, rough.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
I guess it still is. I've just gotten over it. So.
People are hard at scale. I've said this multiple times today. People are hard at scale. We're just bad. The bigger it gets, the worse it is for people. Anyway, I hope your little nub is like mine. It just floats there. My wife checks it all the time, and she's like, yep, still same size, still moves around. And then whenever I see a doctor, they're like, how's that thing going? Oh, I don't know. Check it. Oh, yeah, it's still good. That's just a little cartilage ball in there.
Thing is, I don't know when it appeared. I think that's the worst part about when things appear in your body. Like, did I have it the whole time and not notice?
Right.
Has it been there for 20 years and I didn't really feel around there, or is it new and now I have this?
It's like my head mole. Do you guys see that head mole, the red thing?
Yeah.
I've had that my whole life, but didn't know it. It just since I'm receding, everyone does eventually. It now is visible, but for my 20s and most of my 30s, I didn't see it. I didn't know it was there, but it was always under there. So it's like a big red piece of shit. Hate it.
Wow.
I hate it. I want to get it off. I'm going to have
somebody
options
remove it to get it off.
Yeah,
they're weird about removing moles from your head because I have one, and I was like, "Hey, can I get this taken off?" They're like, "You'll have a scar," and I was like, "Yeah, but right now I have a mole."
Yeah, that's what I said.
Scars.
I had this exact conversation with my doctor, exactly the same thing, and they said, "Oh, well, it'll leave a scar." I'm like, "I know, but right now it looks like somebody jammed a strawberry into my face."
Try saying I am my scars. See how that goes.
Well, that'll go great. They're all WoW fans. They'll immediately kowtow to my needs.
So they won't do it because they're worried about scarring.
Yeah, there you go.
It's basically a scar anyways.
Yeah. Like, it's worse than a scar. A scar, you're at least people look at you and they're like, man, he got hit by some heavy shit.
Yeah.
Well, the mole, they're like, no.
Yeah, he's a mole.
Witch kissed him or something.
Yeah, witch kiss. That's where they come from. That's great. Oh my gosh, where were you 25 years ago when I was raising a baby? I want to tell my kids that moles come from witch kisses. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's good. I'm telling Van. All right. Well done. Hey, quick note to a couple of really awesome patrons of our Patreon, patreon.com/core show. Gil Vermoten. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Kevin Slayton and Bradley Dexter, all three amazing supporters at the Core Hound Platinum, the Core Hound Silver, and also Silver levels. You guys are awesome. If those are confusing to anyone, go check them out and find out what the different levels will give you. I can tell you this, every week, no matter what level you're on, you're going to get bonus content that we record pre-show every episode. You're going to get cool stuff up and down that thing. So go read it. It's real simple. Sign up, throw us a buck, and you'll be our heroes. That's patreon.com/core show. And that is going to do it. talktothecore@gmail.com is our email address. Please use that on the frequent. We love hearing from you guys. Core Pod on Twitter. John's at John_Jagger. I'm at Scott Johnson. Find Bo at Bo Schwartz. And you can find this show live each and every Thursday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time at twitch.tv/frogpants. Everything else for this show is at frogpants.com/core. All right, as tradition dictates, we like to throw it around the table and get some final words of wisdom. John, it's your turn. What do you want to say?
Beware witch kisses.
Oh, or they'll leave a mark. I like it. Bo, how do you want to add to that? What do you got? Oh my gosh, I was hoping we'd never hear it again. Great. That's Sand People for have a great week, everybody. Go play your video games, and we'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Barry!